go straight
I
up.
think
Okay,
Lonnie might
look,
be
I'm Chris.
fucking talking shit.
Marlon.
And then when I said it, he said,
I'm
"Boy,
Eric.
the moment you said it, it clicked. It didn't sound right coming from these
Podcast. This
motherfuckers.
is, I would say, more official episode 1. We got some people in here too. I mean, you
The whole
guys make
squad,
noise,
Kendall
whatever.
boys.
You got CrazyHood in the building.
Yes,
Alright.
sir. For sure.
Okay.
Yeah, at
Further
least
down
some
south.
of us, most of us, not all of us, but we
Not
got a
everyone.
good amount of us in here, and affiliates and
How
friends
many
and
are you?
family. In CrazyHood,
Yeah.
now it's like what? It's like
12.
nah,
11, boy.
12 Wu-Tang numbers.
How many?
bro.
11.
11?
We started like in high school. We was like 20. We all high school friends.
How far back are we talking?
93.
93
93 is when I started CrazyHood
All right,
Productions.
set-
But before 93
yeah.
was already friends. You know what I'm saying?
Oh,
Like
okay, so
high
you guys
school.
knew each other. Okay.
Graduated in 93.
So set the scene. Where you graduating from? How y'all meet?
Sunset Senior High.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
Kendall.
Yeah, definitely Kendall. I originally went to Killian. I got kicked out of Killian.
For what? You got a story on that?
I mean, just bullshit. We sent to MacArthur.
Oh,
I mean, some of my friends here, Orlando, probably got kicked out of Killian too. Didn't you go to Killian too? And get
For
kicked
about
out?
3 days.
Yeah. that was like a theme, a reoccurring theme.
3
And they were gonna
days.
send my ass to MacArthur, and my mom, and I knew MacArthur. I didn't want to go to MacArthur.
yeah.
Y'all know
Yeah,
MacArthur.
yeah,
I don't know if
yeah,
MacArthur's
yeah.
still around.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, that's
But
like
now
visiting
it's
for
now like,
kids.
it's like an Advocate school now.
It looks weird as fuck.
It's a kid's jail.
Yeah.
Yeah, basically, that's how we describe it. Like
Right.
even to this day.
Yeah, so my mom like got a psychologist to like go to like the school board and be like, if this kid goes to MacArthur, he's gonna be a lifelong criminal.
I
So
mean,
then-
yo, to be saying that about you though,
Yeah.
like shit.
Bro, that's just a kid.
That was his way out.
That's stripes.
That's
It is
just
a cute mom,
bro.
It is a cute mom.
mom,
It is a cute
bro.
mom.
My mom said the same shit
Yeah,
to me,
yeah,
bro.
yeah. Swear to God. I mean, I'm not gonna lie. I did not want to go to MacArthur. Let's just keep it
You're just straight
100%. Like, I was petrified of MacArthur. I was like, I don't want to go there. So then they were like, all right, we won't put him in MacArthur. And I went to Arvada Junior High.
Yeah.
So some of my friends went to Sunset. My boy Humphrey specifically, at the time, he was my best friend. And they were like, all right, well, where do you want to go to school? And they're like, do you have friends? And I was like, yeah, Sunset. And they're like, all right, we'll put you in Sunset, but you have to do ROTC. Which most kids would be like, nah.
Yeah.
But at the time, I was G.I. Joe. I was Rambo. I was
Just
ready.
rolling with it.
I thought I was
that
was
motherfucker.
ready to go to war.
Yeah.
So I'm like, fuck yeah. And then I went up to ROTC and I hated ROTC. I'm like, this is not war.
It's not what you thought
They
it would be.
twiddling fucking
You're
rifles.
just in a fucking little parking lot.
I'm fucking
on the
saluting
yard.
That was
little
like-
kids. I'm like, nah. And I got kicked out of ROTC.
That was like some Major Payne shit right there.
Yeah,
going
no,
on.
that shit was terrible. And it was ill because when they threw me in Sunset, and this is like a precursor to why CrazyHood is CrazyHood. They told the principal like this kid's got like mental issues, right? Real talk.
Yo.
So they're like, yo, if he needs to like leave the classroom early, they put me in classrooms mostly with my friend Humphrey, my best friend.
Yeah.
His name is Daniel Humphrey. He's from Barbados. And so they put me in a lot of classes with him, and they were like, if he needs to leave the class for whatever reason, and this is pre school shooters and all
Yeah,
this
all
crazy
that
shit,
stuff.
but obviously it's like they already know that they want to make sure these kids
Yeah.
don't wild out. So like, yo, if he needs to like just leave, let him leave.
So you had a free hall pass, basically. all
Yeah,
the
and
time.
then I could leave with my friend. So I'm like, yo, Humphrey,
Let's get the fuck
out of here. And then I remember there was a new principal the next year, and he called me in. He's like, listen, all this fucking dumb shit that you got a mental issue and then you got that shit is done. It's a wrap.
Like, yo, what a fucking book that was written on you back then, probably. Everyone probably thinks you were like this crazy ass guy, but like,
yeah, I mean, it's pre-social media. You just wilding out. I was a skater. I was, it was just the times, man.
Yeah.
It was crazy, man.
damn. I mean, so if we're going off of that, like, you're in Kendall, right?
Mhm.
You're going around Miami. You moved down here. What would you say that you learned, like, got your influences with music in Miami, or would you say you got that from an experience elsewhere?
Well, I'm originally born in Los Angeles.
Yeah, I know that, but you moved to Miami.
Yeah, so part of my musical like history comes from older cousins in Los Angeles. Like
Okay.
listening, my cousins would listen to like a lot of disco and 80s pop, like Madonna and Prince and stuff like. So I grew up on that stuff, and like the parents are listening to salsa music and stuff like that. So when I get here, that's in the background. It's like everything else in life. I try to tell people like about the OG experience. Like kids won't understand or listen to you now, but later on they appreciate everything.
Yeah.
And it's the same with music. Like when the older people are listening to music around, you're like, oh, fuck that old shit. But later on, you love that shit.
You're like, damn, like this shit actually means something.
Yeah, I love all that old music. So that music was there with me, but then here in Miami growing up, I'm going to Hot Wheels, and I'm hanging around and skaters also.
Yeah.
At that time, I'm a skater. I'm hanging out with skaters, and we're listening to a bunch of different shit. So as a skater, I'm listening to punk, like hardcore skate rock shit.
Name me some bands.
Oh man, there was dudes called Dead Kennedys, Butthole Surfers. Pause.
Butthole Surfers.
Now you have to pause every time you say that name.
Like what?
Yeah, it's like hardcore like
I've never
shit.
heard of that.
But what's funny, if you really are a connoisseur of hip hop, hip hop came out of the punk movement too. Like punk and hip hop,
I can see that.
they came out together. Like there was like CBGB's is the name of the club I think in New York. It was a punk spot, and a lot of the early hip hop acts came out of that. So my point is that as a skater, I would go to skate jams, and it would be like punk rock music, rock, heavy metal shit, and it'd be hip hop shit. And the first time I heard the word hip hop, even though I was already listening to rap music, was from another skater. A skater that this dude named Much, who's like I don't know if he's around nowadays, but he was a graffiti legend already in junior high. I think he was down with STV, which was in the early stages of STV in Kendall and in Miami. Much, he was a surfer, he's a skater, and he was a homie in Arvada, and I remember him telling me like, yo, what kind of, we were talking about music, and I was like, yeah, I listen to rap, he's like, I listen to hip hop, and I was like, hip hop? What is that? Oh shit.
What were some of the like shit that you would show you?
No, it wasn't that he was showing it. I was already listening to the same shit.
Okay.
It's just the way he phrased it.
Yeah. It's a different name for it.
You know what I'm
You're
saying?
what?
Like I had heard the word hip hop, but I wasn't paying attention. I was just, I was listening to all kinds of music, and then he just like hip hop. Like he was already living hip hop, and I was living hip hop too, just didn't know it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So it's just like hip hop, and then it's like, and then I started to pay attention to the culture, to the music, and I started to realize, because I loved music in general, and I was like, hold up, man, hip hop is like the music of my generation.
Yeah.
Like this is our baby, you know. So I was
you
like,
were wrong with it.
yeah, so because I was already listening to music that was somebody else's music from their generation, from what they grew up in, or they helped cultivate. And I was like, man, this is our shit. And then that's when I started to get more involved. And and at the same time, in early, like this junior high, like bass music and hip hop was the same thing. It just later on towards high school, it broke
split
off
off.
into two different things. But if you're from Miami, you equally love like the Miami bass music and all that stuff. Like that's a part of our growing up as well. in Miami.
That's just it down here.
Yeah.
And do you feel that there's enough Miami culture in the music industry, or do you think that Miami isn't well enough represented?
No, Miami has definitely made a dent. Now, will people like identify that or give it its respect? What the fuck was that?
I don't know. Let's just hit this
It's
by
like fucking ET just going home during the podcast. We good?
We're good.
So I think that Miami has definitely made its dent. I think Miami is prevalent throughout the culture, but do we get the respect for it? Do we get the acknowledgement? I don't think so. Like I think Miami has been and always will be kind of like a stepchild in hip hop.
Why do you think that is?
Because people they think of Miami as this vacation place, and they come down here
Very
and
true,
they just
very
fucking
true.
basically
Fuck off.
shit on us.
Yeah. I mean, we look like crazy ass motherfuckers everywhere you go. Like you tell someone from like Wyoming, I'm from Miami, they think you're everyone fighting on the beach drunk as shit.
Right.
And it's like, no, it's not like that.
And let me rephrase it. They don't shit on us without us fucking going at them.
Yeah.
Because Miami, we're resilient and we're always fighting back, and we're always telling people, man, cross that motherfucking bridge.
You're gonna try
South
someone
Beach
like that.
ain't Miami.
Yeah.
We've always been about that.
At all. And I even then, I don't think like the Grove or like Brickell shit. I don't think that's Miami. Like to me, I go to UM, and everyone from UM, their idea of Miami is the Grove, Brickell, and the beach. And I'm like, hell no. Like you guys don't know Cutler Bay, you don't know Palmetto Bay, Kendall, Westchester. All these different things. Like I brought up Westchester one time. This girl's like, "Oh, in New York," and I'm like, "Nah." Westchester's like 15 minutes from the Gables right here. Like I think there's so much here that you can learn from. Like not even just as like a musician, but as a person, you can get so cultured, and that's why like I find it twisted, kind of how the music industry doesn't give Miami the rep it deserves, because we're actually more diverse than most other places.
Way more.
Because you know what? You can have the person that's listening to punk rock, you can have someone listening to hip hop, you're gonna have people listening to fucking Spanish music, house music, all these different things.
Right.
And I think to be like the ultimate musician, I think it's important for you to like surround yourself with all these different things, because you never know, you could be listening to some deep house shit and that may inspire you to do something here.
Listen, the
with
illest
hip-hop.
producer is sampling all that shit you just mentioned. You know.
Hey, but the Grove was hot back in the day.
What did you say? Weird Thoughts.
Said the Grove.
By the way, his name is Weird Thoughts.
Thoughts, okay. Yo, I mean, I love
What
that
type of
shit.
shit you think about, bro?
The Grove. He just told you, the Grove.
Baby chicken.
Hey, I respect everything you said, but the Grove back in the day,
Oh yeah, back in the day.
well,
I've heard stories about the Grove back in the day.
it was one night it was like 8 of us against 67 of them.
Wow.
What? Yo, wait.
First of all,
You
you're
can't
racist
just-
ass. What is of them?
Yeah,
that's
you can't
Whoever.
just.
Is that a
Whoever it
Asian,
is.
gang that we're fighting? Who we're fighting? Them.
And we never knew. When we got past 10,
Oh,
we stopped
they
counting.
were-
And
they were-
that's what it was.
How did we end up here? How did we end up in this
Because it's
situation?
Weird Thoughts. And,
No, we always rep hip hop, but if there's more than 6 of us, we are a threat, right?
Yeah.
So it didn't matter who we were, what we listened to, how we dressed. But because we didn't scare, we didn't turn away from 45 motherfuckers, then they thought we was a gang. But we was just cool ass dudes. All of us is from different towns, different cities, different backgrounds.
Yeah.
But we all destiny made us all
Brought you
be
together.
friends. So when we go out to the Grove or to the beach or anywhere, Hollywood, when we come across a threat, we happen to just stand ground and like, okay,
It's
we're gonna go
instinct.
there. And then it was always 8 against 97 motherfuckers, man.
Because what he's alluding
We was
to
always
is
outnumbered.
that also besides Miami being underrated, Kendall was even more underrated.
Kendall's so
Yeah.
slept on.
And
like, people don't know.
we're
about it.
Kendall kids.
They got the baddest
And
bitches.
I remember when we first started the crew and the company, nobody was repping Kendall when we started repping Kendall, and we were like, because what hip hop taught me was be genuine, be authentic, be who you are, without fear of anything. Like that's who you are. Like you don't rep something, you don't fake some other shit.
Yeah,
I ain't
I'm
from
from
Compton,
where
I
you
ain't from
at.
Brooklyn. I'm from motherfucking Kendall.
Yeah.
And so even in Miami, when we would go around, Kendall was a joke to people, and we had to be fighting that fight for Kendall
Yeah.
all the time at that time.
It's like your little country.
It-
Your little
it
tribe.
was. And literally, we really spilled blood over that shit.
Hell yeah.
I feel like people in Kendall are people that aren't from Kendall and are from Miami. Like they still have some type of like notion that Kendall isn't. I don't know, like a
It's
part
not.
of
It's not
Miami.
popping. Like it's not important.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's not to talk about being on some gangster shit, because that's my thing. Like, nobody's trying to be on some gangster shit, but when you get confronted on some, like, just regular, like, yo, you ain't shit, then you gotta stand up for yourself.
Yeah, exactly.
And we were doing that, because we used to play ball and go to different basketball courts all around the city, and they would say, oh, these Kendall boys, we're gonna fucking, not only are we gonna
They're
wipe them on the
sleeping.
court, because I sucked at playing ball, I
did
fouled
it.
everybody. But
Let them know,
They all
boy.
right here.
Let them know, so.
But we was repping. But we was repping. We would go anywhere. We go Overtown. We'll go Ghouls. We don't give a fuck. We would go anywhere and play ball.
See, I know where I can win. I can't win there.
We just wanted to play ball and just show out. Like we was on some tough Kendall. Like yeah, we Kendall. Like fuck that. And the same thing on the music end. Like, but also on a strategic thing on some industry shit. Me personally, I was starting to say to myself, the boroughs in New York, they created these battles and it uplifted the whole scene in New York because they were all being so competitive that it made them all better.
Yeah.
So I said we can do that on a music level
I
here.
don't see why not.
And that's why on when I started doing the mixtapes on my end, I was repping Kendall hard, and we was repping Kendall in the intros, and I was like, yeah, damn right, I want Hialeah to feel some kind of way so they could come back, but on some lyrical shit
Yeah.
and uplift the
They
city
fire
as a
back,
whole.
yeah.
Because at the end of the day, we was repping Miami. It wasn't just Kendall, but we was being authentic to where we were from. But ultimately, we're repping the whole city. So I just wanted everybody to, and I think to a degree it worked. What we were trying to do.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I think that's
Cowards
so
in
important.
Broward get sprayed in the Dade was the biggest saying that we had back
No,
in
that,
the
but
day.
that was Luke that did that.
Yeah, it was-
Broward,
Yeah, yeah.
Cowards
and
Broward
yeah,
just sprayed
Luke
the
did
day.
that on
Yeah.
some other shit.
Yeah, that was another fight.
That tastes like candy.
Tastes like candy.
Who said that?
It-
Oh, Piz said that.
Pitbull.
Welcome to Miami.
Well, yo, actually, look right here. He was talking about Pitbull all day yesterday.
Bro.
Bringing
No,
this
that's
shit up.
fam. That's fam. Pitts Peoples.
Nah, bro. You know Don Dinero?
Yeah.
Bro, he was raw, bro. And I like I feel so bad that he didn't like have the same trajectory as like Pitt. Bro, he was just too raw.
No, that was fam too. And sometimes I think some people think that I helped that beef happen a little bit more, which I didn't.
Mm-hmm.
Because Cuban Link, I think, was rolling with Don Dinero. And on my mixtape, Cuban, who was my homie, Cuban Link from Terror
Yeah.
Squad, if anybody doesn't know, he dissed Pitt. And then
Wait, Don Dinero?
no, Cuban Link.
Oh,
but
yeah.
this is a part of that whole Don Dinero Pitbull dynamic that didn't go well.
Pitbull and beef, man. That just sounds weird.
Oh, I mean, nah, because
Like
now,
I can't
he's
picture
like,
that guy.
I mean, look.
He's so commercial.
No,
in a
but
way.
Pitt was in the streets.
Nah,
Pitt was a jit in the streets for real.
Yeah, I know he's from here and all that. I know.
No,
all
but
that
he
stuff.
was in the streets, and then he was doing the mixtape shit hard, and I have practically like 2 albums worth of Pitt freestyles,
Wow.
like and mixtape shit that he did for me. That doesn't sound like anything you hear Pitt do right now. Like he's talking about IMP and Folk Nation and Kendall and Overtown and all
He's
this
a
other
different
shit. I mean, it's just he evolved. you know?
Well, yeah, as an artist, like I think you evolve.
He's
yeah.
a brand. He's a
Yeah.
brand now, and I'm not mad at that. But what I'm trying to say is that the Don Dinero stuff, Cuban Link had this Pitt, and Cuban Link was my people's, but I felt an obligation as a Miami guy, also cool with Pitt, to say like, yo, Pitt, look, I'm gonna put this on my mixtape, but I'm gonna give you an opportunity. Like I'm not gonna tell you what he said,
Yeah.
but he
You gotta
dissed
wait.
you, and I'll put whatever you want to diss him back on the mixtape.
That
Right.
sounds tough.
But the fucked up part is that Pitt did a whole song. Cuban Link only did like a part of a verse.
Well, yo, he's gonna go in on him.
So
Just go all out.
I think Pitt's song was called Monkey Ass Nigga or something like that. Right? Was that what it was? I think it was something like that. It was something crazy.
Wow.
And it was a whole song. And I remember, when I see Cuban Link to this day, he's like, "Damn, man, why you accelerated that?" And I'm like, I didn't mean to accelerate
No,
it.
it just happened.
It's hip hop shit. It's
Yeah,
like rap
facts.
shit. But you know, and then Don Dinero and Cuban Link were cool, and that kind of kept that thing kind of going. But yeah, Don Dinero's dope, by the way.
Yeah.
Pitt's dope too, man. And look, man, I think that they all rep Miami. Like
Yeah.
that's the thing. When we talk about diversity, it's evident in our music, in the way that the people
Absolutely.
rhyme and their styles and everything. You know.
I think that's all like awesome right there. I think just the diversity here, it's just fucking insane, and I'm losing my thought right now. So continue talking because I'm losing my thought.
When did you meet Pitbull?
I was gonna ask that.
I met Pitt. I mean, according to him, because actually, I don't think I remember when I met Pitt, but he remembers meeting me when he was 14.
Oh, I was gonna say 13. But yeah,
Huh?
14. I was gonna say 13, but 14 something right.
I mean, were you in his?
It's important. It's important.
teachers?
Yeah. It's true. It's
Weird
true.
thoughts, bro.
Yeah,
Shout out to
weird
Weird
thoughts.
Thoughts.
Everything.
It's true.
Yeah, he said he was 14. He came by. We used to have a store. My boy Eddie Giggs. We owned a store called CrazyHood on Bird Road and 137. And Pitt came by the store, and he said he asked me for advice, and that I gave him some advice, and he said the advice helped
Help them out, yeah.
for whatever it's
Like,
worth.
it happens. Like some people, they ask me for advice, and I don't think of much of it. And,
Yeah.
and they're like, "Oh, it helped me so much." I'm here like, "Okay, shit. All right, cool."
Yeah. But I don't remember personally like really taking notice or meeting him until he was like really in the scene, and I remember he sounded like Dragon from Rough Riders. I don't know if you know who Dragon is.
I gotta go back and do my
Yeah.
check.
Yeah, check it out, man. Like even Pitt had the cornrows and everything, and he had the Rough Riders type of sound.
Yeah, serious.
And then he ended up, my boy Big Teach was his manager, and Teach was my people's too. And Teach was always pushing him, and we were putting him on mixtapes. And in the beginning, I'm gonna be honest, and I say this in a lot of interviews, I'm like, I really didn't think that it was gonna go anywhere.
Yeah.
And I even told Teach at one point, like, because Teach was my homie, like, I don't know, man, I don't know. And I don't know if it was a bias on my end because I had a Cuban artist too, Garcia, who was a rapper on our team as well, and I felt like Garcia was super lyrical, and what I wanted coming out of Miami was more lyrics, and I felt that maybe Pitt wasn't that at the point. But Pitt, this is what's so dope about Pitt. He really is like, he's so smart in the way he moves. You know what I'm saying? And this is where talent really comes into play. Like, he might not have had it at one point, but he kept evolving and learning. And whatever he needed to do to get to a certain space, he kept moving with that. But he always paid homage, and this is what I think that people don't understand. Like, he paid homage to everybody in Miami before him. Like, he respects the history and the trajectory that got him to where he got to today. Whether it was Luke, because he was, eventually signed to Luke at one point. Whether it was me as a DJ, whether it was whoever. Like, he talks with such, like, appreciation for the forefathers or whoever, the pioneers that came before him, that no one could ever hate on that. And then he he just has such a movement of just like appreciation that it just like helped him, like it propelled him forward. And even when people were hating on him, he didn't even like get mad.
Yeah.
Which even worked more in his favor. Like I always use Pitt as an example for all artists. Don't take it personal. Pitt didn't take it personal. People were
There's
like,
no need to.
He's whack, he's this, he's that, he's this. He's like, cool, I'm gonna prove it to you. And then what happens is, then you feel like shit, because then he's popping.
And you're singing his shit in the club.
No, but he could throw it in your face, and what does he do? He doesn't throw it in your face.
And that gets you even more pissed off.
No, it gets you to support him even more, because you're like, damn, this dude is mad cool.
Well, there's that, but then there's also some people who will get pissed.
No, but I'm talking about people that are within the industry.
Oh, okay,
I'm not talking about like a fan.
okay.
Like,
I
a
thought you were
fan's gonna
saying
be a
that.
hater
Okay,
for life.
Yeah.
I'm talking about like industry folk, like a radio person or a DJ who might not have been supporting, and then he's popping, and they're like, damn, I gotta play his record, or I need him to do a drop, or I need him to. He's like, you know what, I'm gonna do the drop, I'm gonna do a freestyle, and I'm gonna show you mad love. He didn't take it personal, and then, you know, I don't know if I'm veering off from everything we're talking about.
Yeah, I mean, don't worry about it.
But,
You say whatever you want.
I just think that's such a good example for artists.
Yeah.
To understand, like, there's nothing personal in the game. Like, don't take it personal. And sometimes people won't see your vision. I didn't see the vision at first for him.
Yeah.
But what I saw at one point is like, I'm never gonna hate against someone from home team, from the city.
Yeah.
If I see that they're starting to win, or they might win, or just whatever, like I'm just not gonna get in the way of that. So I'm gonna be a supporter.
You want to lift them up.
We're gonna be a part of that. You know what I'm saying? We need to show unity in the city.
I got a
Exactly.
question after.
Yeah.
Bro, did it take for Pitt to blow up somewhere else than to blow up Miami before? Like,
Every artist, everybody, even when it comes to us on different levels, whether it's underground, overground, whatever the fuck.
Yeah.
Miami is a city that is transient. Transient meaning that people come, move in and out all the time.
We're a port city. We got people everywhere.
So what happens is the people that are moving in and out all the time, they come with their own like the people that they're into, like their own
taste.
fans of taste of whatever they're into. What the fuck was that?
I think it was some video.
Yo, you watching porn? We're doing it. Pornhub.com is popping.
Just like that.
So what happens is it's hard for people, like the whole city, to hone in and support something.
Yeah.
You know, because it's just broken up. It's broken into different pieces. But what was your question, bro? I just lost my train.
no. I was just asking if like it took Pitt to blow up somewhere else before blowing up in Miami.
And I said that it takes it for everybody.
Yeah.
And that's what it is.
I just see that it happens a lot to a lot of Miami artists. Like, you know, like I don't know if you know Puya.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah,
Of
it
course.
took
He's from
Puya.
Kendall.
It took Puya to
Killing
like
it.
blow up
Yeah.
somewhere else, and then like he just started getting like
Yeah.
recognition in
Absolutely,
Miami.
yeah. The one person that maybe his record popped here, and it was maybe one of the few times, was Ross with
Definitely, hustling.
Oh hell yeah!
I remember when that
was
happened, and
everywhere.
he even brought the record to me and everything, and I remember hearing it, I was like, oh, this is dope. But then Khaled did the whole Funkmaster Flex shit where he just played it a million times on Island Jams. That was probably the one of the few times that Miami took the lead on a record, at least for an artist, and then helped get that artist the deal and all that.
Even with Gula with Pitt.
No, you're right. Kulo kind of.
I mean, that was pretty big.
I
That's still
I
big.
think you know, I don't know, man. That's a tricky one because Kulo also lent itself on some reggae shit, and I think that record worked in a lot of markets, and then Little John got on that record,
Yeah.
and that's what changed it. So in a sense, it took it to blow up somewhere else because I think when John was on the record, it changed the dynamic where hustling is just Ross.
Yeah.
You dig?
And on these things, I think the creative process is something that's really important. Like, I feel just being from Miami, that probably in some way influences you. Like, are you the type of person that when you're trying to make something that you work well, like working last minute like us? Are you someone that you're very open to outside influence in your music? What do you do, like, when you're trying to sit down and make something happen?
That sounded like a really open-ended question. Bro.
Yeah, do whatever. So
I hold hands with a bunch of people and we all say, cool.
What's your creative process? Like, just in general, I don't know.
My creative process, because there's so many different things that I'm creating that each thing that I'm doing is a different process.
In terms of being like
Okay.
A&R, more like bringing people together, like curating a sound or like putting a project together.
So it's more relatable to me. Like I did an album in 2015. It was my first studio album.
Damn, bro, for real? 2015?
Yeah, in 2015.
Wow.
I mean, I had done a million mixtapes before
Yeah.
that, which is the precursor it's to doing an album. And so basically, I would think every mixtape DJ's dream is to eventually do an album. And I did that in 2015 for the first time. It's called Another Time. And it has like 55 or 60 artists on that album.
That's amazing.
And so the process for that was, I just tried to say to myself, this is not about what's gonna pop in the radio, what's really like, this is for me. This is something that no matter, it's gonna stand the test of time for myself and my crew and my boys and my friends and the people that I grew up with. What is that gonna mean? And so what I did is, the formula was, what did I do as a mixtape DJ? As a mixtape DJ, the important things for me is, the culture is respecting the pioneers. So make sure we check that off on the album. We get some pioneers on there. We get new artists. We put on new artists, because that's what mixtape DJs did. You know, we put on new artists.
Yeah.
So we put new artists on there, and we mix and match them with pioneers that sounds good, and makes the pioneer and the legend on there doesn't sound dated. It sounds like these guys make sense together.
Yeah.
So it brings these two audiences together. The younger cats are like, oh man, I'm checking this dude, but damn, this dude sounds pretty dope too. Oh shit,
And then you open up so many doors.
And it's just like mixing these. It's like soup. It's like making, you know, like a fucking soup together. And that's, and it was, and then a part of that also for me personally on this one album was representing the city, representing Miami. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, I want to represent hip hop as a whole, and then mixing up with the legends and the new guys and whoever I thought was what I wanted to represent hip hop for me in this album, and then representing Miami on top of that. So all of that was important to me in the process.
Okay, yeah.
So I don't know if that answered your question.
That's perfect.
Yeah,
That's exactly what I was looking for there. And you mentioned working with 60, 55 different people.
It was
What
insane.
is that like?
It's insane. It's insane. Like, someone today was hitting me up, an old friend of mine that used to be a female artist, rapper from Miami. She lives in New York now. And she was like, we need you to do another album, because your album was so fucking dope. And I told her, I said, I'm not in that space right now, because to do an album like that, I need to be in a certain space. And it's just not, because I didn't do that album for financial gain. It was a passion project, you know? So I told her, I need to be in a place where I could concentrate and just really imagine this project and put it together and put it out without, you know, just do that. I can't do that right now. I got too many things going on right now. If I try to do a music project right now, it's gonna be a shit show.
Yeah, it won't be like 100% what you wanted it to be.
No, that year that we did that album, and I think my friends can all, because everybody was a part of this process. Beats in the Hood produced a lot of joints on there. He had a joint on there with Juvenile, Trick Daddy, and Dead Prez. Crazy. Like, that's fucking crazy, that record right there. You know, and
That's respect.
everybody was there. It was 1 year of just making sure that we created a classic album. And mind you, I understand that a lot of people haven't even heard this album. But at the end of the day, all that matters is that I know that this is a classic album
you made
for
some
me.
crazy ass stuff, and you're proud of it.
And that whenever anybody discovers this album, because we're not on a major label, it's all independent, so it might not get heard. But whenever someone does discover this album, they'll be like, damn, this shit's kind of dope.
It's like, damn.
It's a solid ass project, and that's what matters to me at the end of the day.
When you were putting this together, and like you were just saying, like, for example, like Dead Presidents, Juvenile, like even Denzel Curry and like Bun B that were included in this album.
Yeah.
How was it? Would you send these beats or like verses over to them, or would you grab all these artists and put them in one room together?
I mean, that was always the dream, to get everybody together, and when we could, we did do that. Like, Denzel came and recorded in our studio. We had, at that point, my office was in downtown in the Viscane building, right across from Bayfront Park. And Denzel came and Gunplay came, and they recorded that together, and that to me was what I wanted every record to be. But we couldn't do that in today's day and age. So a lot of the times we were sending the records out, but we were very like particular and hands-on. And there's records that didn't make the album and verses that didn't make the album, because I was just like, nah, this is not for this project. It didn't work.
But you're planning on potentially using it later on, like
it could be like a mixtape leak or something, like whatever. Like, I want to do like an EP maybe that's like the B-side that never made the album, or whatever. But that album to me, I had to feel like this is, and in retrospect, I'm like, man, it's too many joints. How many joints were on that record? Do we remember?
I think
It's like
it was
15 or
13.
15. I mean, it's a lot of joints on that record, and maybe it shouldn't have been that long, but it's just like it felt complete.
Yeah, I mean, you have a story to tell with it.
Yeah.
In some way.
Yeah. And it was sequenced.
Yeah.
In a way that it made sense. It was just something that I wanted to do, and I never had done it, and I was gonna do it the way I had always originally intended to do it. And it got done.
Did you feel like you were validated in that moment? Like, did everything go according to plan for the most part?
I mean, I don't know about validation,
but like for yourself, not from everyone else.
No, I know what you mean.
Okay.
And I'm just saying, like, it felt like. It just felt good to
21.
accomplish, huh?
21.
Yeah, I knew it was a lot of records.
Don't take the skits out. It's like about 15.
Whoa, yeah. So about 15.
Yeah.
You're right.
It just felt, I just felt like I had accomplished what I set out to do, which is always what I'm trying to do. Is just like, you have a goal, you try to accomplish your goal as best as you originally intended to do it, and I feel like I came 98% to what. Actually, there's in my office now. I had wrote out a board, like, and it wasn't a vision board, but it was like the beginnings of making the album, and it's like, who do I want on the album, and who do I want to put together, and I had these features on it, and I had 1, 2, 3, and I have that board today, and it's like, I would say to you right now, at least 90% of that board is what that album became.
Wow. And what about the other 10?
Before I even started the album.
And what about the other 10%?
It just, whatever, the artist couldn't, it didn't work out, they were on tour, they couldn't do the verse for me, they couldn't, for whatever
Something
reason.
came up.
Yeah, and then everything, this album, and there's another message that I always try to tell people, this whole album wouldn't have been possible without relationships, because it wasn't about money. It wasn't about paying artists to do all these things. It wasn't about that. It was relationships that I had built over the years with the crew, through mixtapes, that I had helped them when they were promoting records, that eventually got me all these verses. Whether it was a free verse or a cheap verse or whatever the fuck. I wouldn't have been able to afford this 20 whatever fucking tracks, 60 fucking artists.
Yeah.
That's $1 million fucking record on a major label.
Wow. Do you think labels are important? Do you think that moving forward, that labels are gonna be playing such a big role in stuff anymore? Or do you think someone will finally, like, for real, like on some Chance shit?
Right.
I think he's fallen off a bit, that's me personally, but he won a Grammy, he's by himself. Like, do you think that there will be more people that follow his path?
Who you saying won a Grammy? What you saying?
Chance.
Oh, Chance.
Yeah, independent. Like, I don't think labels are so, like, important. I feel people want to get away from that.
Look, I don't think labels are important, but do I think they still they could have a place in this in the industry? Because it's starting to become back to the Wild West, which is kind of cool and kind of not cool.
Yeah.
Why is it not cool?
Cause, okay, look. So let me try to like reverse engineer it and go back. So in my era at least, in the early '90s, not everybody could get into a studio. Not everybody knew where to go to a studio. Not everybody could afford a studio. Not everybody was like the way I got into studios. I didn't have the money to get in a studio. We would enroll into Miami-Dade Community College to get the free studio time in the engineering, classes.
Holy shit.
And that's the way we recorded all our first demos and our first albums.
Wow.
Yo, that's literally finesse.
Yeah.
I never would have thought of
Yeah.
some shit like that.
Wow.
So the reason why I'm saying that to you is because in today's day and age, you could record an album on your fucking phone.
Anywhere. You'd be driving, doing whatever. the
Steve
fuck you
Lacy
want.
does it.
Right. So although the record labels are kind of whack in the sense that they're these gatekeepers, and sometimes the people that are the A&Rs or the people are not of the culture, and they're just like, they're not looking out for the benefit of the culture, or they don't really know, they don't have good taste in music or whatever the fuck, they're just cookie cutter shit. Having those gates, those like barriers to get to where you need to go is kind of like a good thing to weed out the bullshit.
Yeah.
As to even what happened, why I'm telling you why it took us how we needed to record, because the average guy who just wanted to be a rapper but didn't really give a fuck about rapping, wasn't really an artist.
Mm-hmm.
Now he could record a record. He could just be like, fuck, shit, fuck, shit, fuck. Record that shit.
Yeah.
That's just hot. Put it out. 10 of his friends like it. YouTube video, put the bitch dancing. Ah, shit, fuck, shit. And the shit, I don't know, it starts popping for some weird reason.
So you think that all of this is like the way it is today, like that's lessened the quality of the music, the fact that we're so easily able to access like a studio, mic, something like you can record whatever the fuck you want, drop it the next day and it can pop.
Don't you think that having what's the right word? But like, it's just like paying your dues.
Yeah.
It's not the words that I'm trying to look for, but at the end of the day, I feel like paying dues is a big part of the game.
Anywhere, I think in a lot of
putting in your 10,000 hours.
Yeah.
You need to put in that
you
work.
Hone your skills. Like I tell you, someone asked me the other day, what's your what record that you did means the most to you or whatever, and I tell them this first record that we did called Fake Out of Towners. We're talking about people coming from out of town into Miami and taking advantage. The record was whack. It was a whack ass record.
That's a crazy idea.
It was dope.
It's
No, what I'm trying to say is it was genuine. It was authentic. And I remember, and it's funny. There's a funny story. Khaled, he played it on his pirate radio show on Mix 96, and it was like a Break It or Make It record thing. And Khaled himself was like repping a lot in New York and like all this stuff. And he kind of he took offense to the record because it was like dissing people like Khaled.
Is he a sensitive guy, Khaled?
I'm gonna when he gets the drink chance, we'll figure it out.
That's a challenge right there.
So he plays the record, but he kind of dissed the record right before he played it. Like, yo. Anyway, I don't want to regress, but the point is, what was?
Oh no, I want to hear what he said though.
He kind of like set it up for failure. Like
he just said, "Oh yeah, new record."
He's like, "Oh yeah, new record, Fake Out of 10."
Wow. Yo, that's disrespect.
It was foul. And then where's Paul? Paul's not here, but Paul stepped to him. It was a shit show. So, whatever, man. We have a long history with Khaled. Some good, some not so good, but at the end of the day, I have a lot of respect for Khaled, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying this just because Khaled's popping. I'm just saying I've seen everything the guy's done.
As a man, yeah, you just see what he's done.
But if he comes on Drink Champs, we'll also talk about the shit that I don't respect as well.
You
gotta call him out. You gotta call him out.
I think
not call him out, but we'll talk about our history. Like
yeah,
we have a lot of history together. And we'll just openly talk about it. We'll talk about the ups and downs of Miami that he's included in. And it's not about calling him out or dissing him, because I'm not trying to like single him out, because people might be like, oh, you just single him out because he's DJ Khaled.
Yeah.
And you want to get some Instagram popping shit. Nah. It's
He's
history.
Yeah, he low-key did some shit that I didn't like at all. Like, when his album dropped at the same time as Tyler's album dropped? My bad. He was like, oh, why is my album not number one? And why
Nicki Minaj did that.
Yeah. I mean,
like,
I don't know, man. I mean, yeah, I don't know. Yeah, that shit's...
No.
I mean, no. I'm saying, that shit was weird. I don't know. I don't get it. I don't know.
I mean, there's people that get butthurt over that. Like Nicki Minaj, for example, with Astro World. She was popping off on Travis. He never said shit. And look, she just retired.
Yeah.
Like, apparently retired.
One thing I'll just tell you about Khaled. The Khaled you see today has been the Khaled we've seen forever.
So he's a real ass dude like that.
It's not.
He's gonna stick to who he is.
He's authentically been the same guy, right? Eddie, because Eddie's been around.
How far back do y'all go? Like, how long have you known Khaled?
Since Khaled got to Miami.
First pulled up in his-
Khaled's from Miami, originally from New Orleans. Then he was making his chops in Orlando, and then he made it to Miami. When he made it to Miami, he was already doing my mixtapes and stuff. I was like the mixtape dude. It was like at one point it was like I'm the mixtape dude. Khaled is the pirate radio dude, and DJ Epps was the club dude on some like real deal hip hop shit. Like there's other dudes doing stuff, but on some like super duper like you're into like hip hop.
You know who
we were the guys. You know
who are. Yeah.
This is what we did. This was the trilogy. You know.
Damn, that's dope as fuck, man. So you've been able to see all of this stuff come up. Who are the best people to you today? Up and coming, if you want to give anyone some love, people that are
like new cats.
Yeah.
Like I'm a huge Denzel Curry fan. Like I always talk about it on Drink Champs. You know, I know there's a lot more artists. The thing is that we're saying, there's so many artists nowadays. I couldn't keep track of all of them.
It's too many.
It's too many. And I'm sure there's a lot of dope artists coming out of Miami that I just don't know about. But I know about Denzel Curry. He embodies a lot of what I think is dope about what I think a rapper should be like, you know, an MC out of Miami. And to me, he's just super dope, man.
I think we've met him a couple times on a couple occasions, and he's a dude that, you ever meet a famous person and, you know, you can just tell they don't want to even be near you, like, fuck this guy, whatever, I don't want to deal with that shit. No, he's sitting here with us. So, like, Denzel, you walk up to him, he started having a fucking conversation with him straight up. Like, there's a whole line of people, and he's not rushing him. He's like, no, I'm going to give this guy the time, you know. he's an artist that he wants to get to know people that are listening to him, because if you don't give those people any attention, then you're just isolating yourself from your fans.
I do want to defend the people that do act standoffish.
Oh yeah, I know, like, you know.
No, I want to tell you because weird people come up to.
Oh yeah, of
people,
course.
And you just never know who's gonna be the weird person.
Yeah, you want to be careful, like, and I'm saying, like, if this was an ideal situation where you don't have a weird person, but again, you never know that. But there's certain scenarios where, like, you don't mean to, like, be weird or anything. You just want to talk to them.
Right, but it's just what happens is people who are any kind of limelight or have any kind of attention already on them, after a while they get bombarded with such weird shit that they just become standoffish off rip because they just don't know. They just don't want to even deal with it. And I have these conversations with people all the time, like I'm nowhere near any status of any kind of celebrity bullshit, but I've had some weird shit happen to me.
Tell me about a story.
Weirdest
shit that happened.
I'll tell you one of the weirdest shit. When I put out this album in 2015, Another Time, which it has Inspector Deck, it has MOP, it has Denzel Curry, it has fucking Redman, like all these dope ass. I had this dude hitting me up on Facebook, trolling me crazy, and this dude, and I had fun with it, but it was weird. This dude was like, "You fucking Illuminati." You fucking made these artists sell their souls to the devil.
You just out of nowhere.
You fucking made them. You made them gay, and you did this, and you did, and I'm like, and I thought it was hilarious.
Like, sure, what the
so no, I'm like talking to him like, no doubt, hell yeah, I did that shit. Fuck yeah. Fire, trophy emoji. The dude's like, I'm gonna fucking kill you when I see you. I'm gonna feed you to my pit bull.
You never even met this guy. He's just like fucking.
Yo, it was so random and so weird. But look, in today's age, in the days that we live, where random people are killing people in the streets for dumb shit, and doing the most randomest murders and crazy shit, you can't take that kind of shit lightly.
At all, yeah.
Because we could laugh at that. The dude was telling me that he was in LA. He said, when I see you in the streets in LA, and I go to LA often because I'm from LA, I have family in LA, I go there all the time. He's like, when I see you in LA, not only am I gonna murder you, but I'm gonna feed you to my pit bull. I mean, I had a time of my life responding to this guy. Like I read the whole shit to my boys and they died of laughter. But at the end of the day, when you really think about it, there's deranged people in the world.
Yeah.
So if I'm getting this message, imagine what a Kanye West is getting, or a DJ Khaled, or a Nas, or a Jay-Z, or a Nicki Minaj. Imagine the deranged shit
you're gonna get some
getting.
Crazy ass.
If I'm getting one, they're getting 1 million.
Yeah, it's all in their DMs and shit. I mean, even that's why you see people don't have their DMs open if you're a celebrity.
It's crazy. That. So if you go up to somebody and they act standoffish, maybe just understand that they might have got approached earlier that day or maybe that day, or they've got some weird message and they're just like, I don't know who you are, what you are. Like I've heard celebrities like a Nicki Minaj even, like I've heard weird things where they don't like to look people in the eyeballs because it might, like, their soul might get taken. I don't know if that's true. I'm just saying I've heard weird shit like that.
Cats will do that.
Who?
No, cats. Don't look at cats in the eye.
Cats?
So you're a cat connoisseur?
No, don't look at cats. I don't like cats.
You don't like cats. I've learned something new about my friend Eddie Giggs.
Bro, like when I walk into a crib
I
and
don't
I
like
smell a
cats
cat,
either.
bro, like I have that.
Like I'm
Look at
allergic
you,
as
stay
fuck
at
to
you,
cats.
stay
Like I
at you,
can't
they take
even
you
hear
so
that.
out.
Yeah, I feel you on that.
So cats, yeah, just don't look at cats.
Don't look at cats.
The more you know, bro. Just like that. Wait.
Cats.
That was the most random shit. Wait, I need a drink right here. I need a drink.
Yeah, have a beer. We have plenty of beer.
You got
want a
beer? Yeah, I'll take a beer.
Take one from Weird Thoughts over there.
Weird
Weird
Thoughts.
Thoughts. Weird Thoughts.
Yo, what's his government name?
Weird Thoughts.
Weird thoughts.
Thoughts weird. Thoughts weird.
Just reverse weird. Oh, Icky Hood. My bad. Icky Hood.
Oh my god. Got a little beer.
Cheers.
Damn, I haven't had Modelo in a bit. What's your drink of choice?
It's always usually
Scotch,
has
is it?
been Bacardi and club soda.
Really?
2 limes. But my girl got me. I never drank beer my whole life. Like I was never really into beer. And my girl in recent years got me into beer, and I'm like a fat ass beer drinker. It's
Except for the
really
32 ounces
disrespectful
we
to my
drank back in high
lifestyle.
school.
Huh?
Except for the 32 ounces we drank in high school.
Yo.
Oh no.
Yo,
I'm saying in high school we drank the
32s are our shit.
32
That's our
ounces
shit.
like they were 40 ounces. You're like, yo, son, we killing the game, hip hop.
That sucks. They should have 40 ounces in Miami.
Yeah.
No, you know what I used to do? When I would go to LA to visit my family, I would bring back in my luggage Remember?
They'll let you do that shit.
I mean, back it's
Yeah.
pre
Back then,
9/11.
bro,
Pre
you didn't have all
9/11. Yo,
this
we used to
shit.
travel with guns in our luggage. Pre 9/11.
That's
Like,
wild.
We live in such a different world from the one they grew
Yeah.
up in. Like
Yeah.
Miami is
you
not
made me sound.
their
You
Miami.
made it super
No,
I'm saying
It
with
is what it
respect,
is.
with respect,
No, it's
like-
fact. No, it's facts. Like, it's facts. We used to travel with, yo, we used to take 40 ounces on the plane, boom boxes, and Bacardi bottles in the plane.
And Coke. I mean, weed.
And play music, drink the liquor, yo, and in the plane. And then the steward's like, please stop. We're like, it's a very different world.
Yo, I can't picture that shit. Like,
Yo, I swear to God, we used to do that shit.
I get on a plane and nobody looks at each other, nobody's talking to
Everybody's
each other,
sleeping.
like everyone's just like,
Yeah,
fuck
we,
you, bro.
we definitely used to do that. We used to take Bacardi bottles all day long on the plane.
Damn, y'all sound like you were the people to like go out with and party with back in the day.
Still are.
Yeah.
Well, yo,
Hey, but you can't hang with us if you don't want to fight 47 dudes. Then there's only 8
Yo,
of us.
weird thoughts beyond that shit.
Why are you trying to
if
fight people?
I'm right here and I see y'all getting attacked, like my first instinct is not gonna be to run. I gotta fucking do this because
Look.
we're outnumbered. I gotta defend myself too.
You want to give him the mic real quick. Don't make it too long of a story.
Quick.
So he gets the song, he plays the song, and he used to have like a make it or break, like vote in. Like,
Yeah.
you're gonna play the song, people, listeners call and tell if it's dope, if it's not, play it, make it or break it. And he kind of like told the people to not really vote for it. And his the way he said it, he was like, listen to this song is alright. These some dudes from Kendall, and the song is alright. You
It's
know,
not-
if you guys don't want, he
Yeah.
didn't do that to any other song.
That's disrespect.
You know what I'm
That's
saying?
right there.
He
That, like,
prepped it for failure. And of course, I'm gonna take that shit super
But the
serious.
song wasn't the best song either. We
It
gotta
wasn't.
be honest.
But still, you gotta give it the benefit of the
Yeah,
doubt.
take it back, because I'm gonna talk forever.
yo,
You didn't even tell the story that I wanted you to tell.
You're just as much a part of this.
What happened
I mean,
after
yo, how about
that?
we both tell the
So
story
he
here?
played
All I'm
with what
saying
happened.
is
You started off.
I don't think he
you
remembers. I don't think he remembers.
No, prep me.
No, because you're gonna
What you
you're
said
gonna lie.
after.
I don't know what you lie.
What did you tell him after the fact?
Remember we saw him at the club with Snow White's club.
Right.
I forget what the name of that party was.
What you did to what you
Right.
did?
I don't remember.
He just stepped
nights,
to
bro?
him. He just stepped to him in an outrageous way that I was just like, Paul, come on.
Paul, you didn't have to
You
do
can't
that.
step to
I'm the bad
DJs.
guy.
You can't step to the DJs because they play the record or they don't like the record. You can't step to them that way.
It's true. I did do
And,
that.
and that's been a trajectory in our crew that's happened.
And that's why everybody loves EFN and hates me, because I'm gonna smack you. And EFN
You're the bodyguard, man.
No, I'm not a bodyguard. I'm gonna smack you. But EFN was not you. Not you.
I'm fucking around.
But EFN is the DJ, and I'm the enforcer. And I'm gonna tell you what's dope, and I'm gonna tell you what's not, and I'm gonna tell you don't talk to us, and I'm gonna tell you let's fight, and I'm gonna tell you shit dope, and I'm gonna rhyme, and we're gonna be cool ass niggas. At the end of the day, when we drink and smoke, everybody be like, yo, Paul's a good ass dude. Paul's cool. But before
That's his
that, they don't like
government, by the
me.
way.
Government. Okay, we got it. Fine. How long are we into this? How many minutes are we into this shit? This whole time I have
He's
no
giving you back the mic now.
Welcome, Paul.
Appreciate it. So
So when are we taking shots of Colombian? Why is
let's
it-
go right now.
I have
Let's go right now.
hella
Are we
stories.
drinking straight from the bar?
Orlando's ready.
Nah, that's. I mean, if you got cups, if not, then we have
I
to
don't
do
think
this
we
straight
have
from the bar,
cups.
which is kind of weird.
I mean, air sip.
It's kinda,
Air sip. That's a little risky.
air sips are weird.
I'm straight.
Shout out to Kendall Podcast Studios for having cups in the back.
100% worth it.
I so well,
Yo, so we're gonna open this up like this.
I guess I'll serve.
Say less, bro.
Very appreciated.
So go ahead, what's going on, guys?
Shots for everybody.
Yeah, Eddie,
Except
come
me
on.
and
Listen,
him.
I'm only doing the
You-
shots for
you
this day,
drinking?
but y'all can take care of the rest.
So what would you say is your most memorable song that you put together?
Yeah, for
or
everybody.
something like an album that you've been involved in, or any type of like creative process, anything.
So you've been most proud of? Is that what you're
Yeah, like most memorable to himself, or like something that he sees, he's like, wow, I can't believe I've been a part of this.
The most memorable stuff that I mean, that's a tough question because I think that I've been a part of a lot of things that I'm really proud of. But right now, as of today, my coming home films, my documentaries that I'm producing right now are what I'm most proud of. Right now.
Okay, when
Talk to me more about that.
So they've been dropping. They've been since 2012. We've been producing these films where we travel around the world and we go to different countries and we link with the hip hop heads in these countries and we learn about it's like Anthony Bourdain hip hop.
Okay. That's
So if anybody's into Anthony Bourdain, that's the easiest way to explain it. A lot of people use Anthony Bourdain, but I really am a student of Anthony Bourdain. Rest in peace to him.
That guy lived such an interesting life.
And so I really try to do what he did as a chef, as a hip hop connoisseur, like learn about the country, use what I know to learn about a country. And that's what I've been doing. And we went to Cuba, went to Haiti, we went to Peru, we went to Vietnam, we went to Colombia. We just came back 2 weeks ago from South Africa.
What was that like?
Fucking amazing.
I think those are like the two places that I want to go to.
Where?
Cuba and like Africa.
Yo, South Africa's fucking dope, dude. And they have a lot of fucked up shit that's happening over there. Even right now, as we left, it's fucked up. But I mean, that's what's dope about these films, man. Like, we're just learning about these countries and we're meeting our hip hop counterparts. Like, imagine if you go and you meet people that are like you and the common language is the music and the hip hop and the culture, but they're living in a whole different type of environment. Yeah. But you guys can connect on just hip hop.
That's the beauty of music.
And that's what's fucking dope. And that's what I'm doing with these films. And that's what I love about these films. And the thing is that since I started in 2012, there's been a lot of like content creators and networks that have created similar content, right?
Like what? Give us an example.
I don't want to name names, but
what separates you?
The difference is that you'll see a fucking dork ass dude walk into a fucked up neighborhood and just show you like, look how fucked up this neighborhood is, and I'm in this fucked up neighborhood.
See, I hate shit like that. It's just all negativity.
It's fucked up.
Like on some
it's fucked up because that's not what we need to be showing about people in these places in this world.
People live here. This is people's homes. Yeah. Like to the rest of the world, you're gonna think it's a shithole. Like,
you're exploiting their fucked up shit.
Yeah.
So my thing is, no, I'm going there and show me how hip hop is dope here. Show me what's dope about your spot. Now, don't get me wrong. If something organic comes right in front of my camera and it's fucked up, I'm gonna maybe show it in the film. But I'm not seeking that. Where these other content creators are seeking and exploiting and trying to show you, because that's the way it's shock value. Yeah. They're trying to show you like, look, check this out, man. I'm in the hood, and this guy smoking crack right here.
It's all propaganda. It's just everything that they're putting.
I mean,
in
it's
our
real
heads.
too.
But it's real, but
it's a realness. It's just showing you one thing, and I'm trying to say, man, it's not like that everywhere we go.
Yeah.
That's what scares us about traveling. Like, what's happening right now in the United States and in hip hop, if you want to go just hip hop, we're closing ourselves to the rest of the world.
In what sense?
Well, we could talk about our current government.
I know about the government. I know about the government, but I'm saying like with the hip hop part.
Hip hop. Okay, so when I travel to these different countries, they used to look to us as like inspiration because we were the originators of hip hop. They don't anymore.
You serious? I think they do.
No, no. I'm telling you. I'm talking to the top artists in these countries.
That's crazy.
They say you guys sold the fuck out.
Damn.
But so like, you don't even own your own shit anymore. Then is what they're saying.
They just saying you guys don't do hip hop anymore. You guys are on some money shit.
Well, yeah, there's a lot of people like that, but not everyone's like that.
I think it's just what gets pushed out more. You know, if you really dig, you do your homework.
Well, whatever gets pushed out more is what they see.
Yeah.
Wait, how do you feel about people that like someone like Russ, Brian?
Well,
I need another one. I get another one.
Wait,
I got a matchup.
You're greedy.
You Colombian?
He's Colombian. Is that your bottle?
You Colombian?
What type of
Who's
bottle?
Colombian?
Oh yeah. So these are my friends. I mean, I'm a part of this company.
Hold on first.
It's out of Kendall.
Out of Kendall, straight out of Kendall.
Kendall.
Alright, relax, buddy.
Salud.
Ah, rico.
That would definitely get everyone looser here. You gotta chase that shit with
I have
a
crazy
beer.
ass stories about our little chase.
No, you're good.
Jesus
This is a good
It's
one.
lingering.
So, so I feel like before that you like beer and you're a fan of Bacardi and club sodas.
I used to only drink Bacardi.
Why haven't you made a rum?
I mean, sorry.
fire, bro.
No, well now I'm with Aguardiente, so this is what I'm in.
Make a rum too. Like
eventually, let's start.
Havana
My
Club
people's here.
or Bacardi?
Like, huh?
Havana Club or Bacardi?
That's tough. Because when I went to Cuba and I tasted Havana Club, because you know it's the same distillery in Cuba where Bacardi was created.
Yeah. And they moved to Puerto Rico, right?
Yeah, they moved, but they're using the same ingredients as Bacardi did originally in Cuba. I love both of them. Let's just say that. But Havana Club is fucking amazing. I have plenty of it in the house right now.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
I've actually never had it.
Oh man.
I won't.
Bro, doesn't your pops have a bottle?
He does.
He does? I haven't drank from it.
Yo, the
I'm gonna have to look
añejo.
for that.
That's just enough.
That's all you gotta say, bro. I feel you completely. Like, that's me. Every tequila, bro. I can't. Like that
Nah,
shit.
fuck tequila.
Tequila's
Fuck
I can't do
tequila,
it.
man.
I
And
hate tequila, man.
Yeah, tequila has always been the beginning of the worst night of my
oh,
life.
good life, yeah.
I want him there.
And it's just a
And
certain
I
look. Now you're like, what the fuck was that,
I
bro?
want him there.
Like, yo, I said some
I-
fuck.
You know what?
Shit's trash.
But you know what I fuck
hate
with?
it.
Mezcal.
Mezcal.
Is fucking dope. That is the I don't want to. Let me give a good way of saying this. The connoisseur of tequila, maybe? I don't know. That's probably-
Interesting.
Whatever. Just look up mezcal.
I get more or less what you're saying.
Mezcal is a smoky. It's made from the same shit that tequila is made from, but it's way more like high end, and it has a smoky flavor to it. It's fucking dope.
Yo, I'll definitely try that shit out. Like, I just turned 21 in January, so right now I'm.
Oh my god!
I'm
There's no point in talking to you, bro. But when I was no, the reason why I say that is because when I was your age, I was Corona. I was like Corona.
nah.
Yo, that was me. But then like I started smoking, and
No,
that shit.
I don't smoke.
Yeah.
But I got smoke champs in the building, so
You got smoke champs. in
so
the
I got
building?
products for you.
Yo, like for me, like I drink too, but like that smoking shit has just been crazy.
Yeah, well, don't drink mezcal. You're too young for that right now.
Oh no, we're gonna try that. We're
You
gonna
gotta try it.
Dude,
find
bring
a-
that up.
You
Like,
gotta get a
I want to get on that right now. I'm
Yeah.
talking
I'm
ahead.
just saying, there's levels to this shit.
I mean,
No disrespect to saying that you're young, but I'm just saying, like, it took me. I'm 44 years old. It took me till 44 years old to say mezcal's kind of dope. You know, like,
Really? Wait, what was
I would
that?
have never said that at 21. Mezcal, fuck you, man. Mezcal's expensive.
What was that drink we had a few nights ago with Chopa? Fernet.
Fernet.
Have you ever had that before?
What?
This drink called Fernet. It's some Italian drink. So you don't want?
I mean, I don't even know what it is, but it
Bro,
sounds like I don't want it.
no, I think you do want.
Sounds
it.
like-
No, it's good.
Just- okay.
It's fire.
Is it?
If you mix it with Coke, just
Just like limoncello?
no, it's more like a minty
I'll
type
send
of
you a
flavor.
picture. I'll
It's a
show you
minty
the
type of
bottle.
I'm
flavor.
not mixing anything with Coke. It's gotta be good by itself.
I mean, yo,
That's old man shit. It's gotta be good
it
by
is
itself.
good by
On the rocks.
itself,
On
but
the
like,
rocks,
yo,
you better
why
put
do
that
you?
shit on the rocks.
Gin.
You put Coke in it to make it good. It's not good.
You see, this is where you show like your experience. I'm still trying to learn out here. Like, fuck, I can't even come back.
Bottle looks kind of cool though.
It's a different type of thing. Like my boy showed up, and he's in the restaurant industry, so he knows all this random shit. He always pulls up with something random, and he brings me a bottle of Fernet. I'm like, what the fuck did you just bring into my house? And he's like, try this out right now.
What's it called again?
Fernet. Fernet. It's an Italian liqueur type of thing, and it's
So
just
it's not like limoncello,
no.
but you know what limoncello?
Yeah, I
is?
do. I've had
That's
it.
just kind of dope.
It's interesting. Like I don't know, it's alcohol and.
What? You're 21,
Yeah,
bro.
bring
Give
some
it some
Tiger
time.
I'm trying to get
Alcoholism takes a while, and I don't want you to be an alcoholic.
We're all
Never.
21. Well, us four, we're all 21.
Yeah, you just turned 21.
I
He just turned 21. He was the
just
baby.
turned 21.
Well, guys, don't drink a lot of alcohol.
Yeah, we've already had some experiences.
Listen,
Growing up in Miami, bro.
I'm being like I'm a new father, so I have
Congratulations.
those new father. Thank you. My daughter's 16 years old, 16 months, and so I have those fatherly instincts.
How's fatherhood changed you?
Well, I'll tell you right now. I knew that if I was gonna do this industry or being part of the music industry in general, I didn't want to have a kid.
Because you felt you couldn't give all your time, or
Yeah, and this industry is fucked up.
yeah,
Like, literally, you really gotta have your mind right. You gotta know who you are to be in the music industry.
because you have so many people telling you what they think
And
you are.
And understand this: there's the music industry, and then there's being a fan or being in hip hop culture.
100%.
Those are two different things. Being in the music industry is like crossing the line of being in the Cosa Nostra. Like, you're in the underworld.
Yeah. There's so much shit that goes on that
There's
we
a
don't know
lot
about.
of dirty shit that happens. So if I wanted to make a career of this, I realized quickly that I'm not gonna, because I from a young age I knew I wanted kids.
Mm-hmm.
So if I really want kids and I want to be a good parent, I don't want to bring a kid into this. If I want to make a career in this, I can't have a kid in this.
You know what? I'm 21 years old and I've had those thoughts before, but continue.
No, but I'm saying that's what it
we're
is.
very like-minded.
That's what it is. So it took me a while, and even now to this day, like with my daughter, it drives me even more crazy. You know what I'm saying? Like the fact that I have a daughter and I'm doing this stuff, and I'm like, I feel like conflicted in a lot of ways.
But does having a daughter add kind of a more like a bit of a twist in your like process as a DJ? Like when you create your stuff, does it give you like more of a reason to want to be the best? Like, so you want your daughter to be proud of you? Like, does having a kid make you?
Right. Well, yeah. Okay. I mean, in terms of DJing, I'm not DJing actively like that anymore.
Yeah.
But in terms of everything that I'm doing as the brand that I've created.
Yeah, filming all this stuff.
Yeah. I want to show my daughter, and if I have another child, that you can like, I want them to be proud of their father, that I set out goals and I did what I wanted to do on my own. Because that's what I've done. I've never worked a regular job since I graduated. I never. The only job that I ever worked was my pops when he came back into my life at some point in my life.
And KB Toy Store.
That was the only job I actually legitimately worked right out of high school, KB Toy Store. And then my pops came back in my life, and he started opening up GNCs in Miami.
Wow.
My pops is the first person to open up the GNCs in Miami.
Where?
On US 1?
Everywhere.
Yeah. On US 1. On US 1 in South Miami.
US 1.
His pops opened it and he was slinging out the back door.
Bro, hook me up. I'm trying to get big, bro.
But me and my pops weren't cool. He actually came back into my life at that time in my life, which was right out of high school. You know, and then I started to work my first job at KB Toy Store in Dayland Mall, which doesn't exist anymore.
I remember KB Toy Stores though.
Yeah, no, I've
heard of that. It's not, I don't think it's around, but I've heard of it.
No, it's not around anymore. And I love that job. I mean, we used to jack mad toys. Mad toys, yo. When they used to do the shipments, it was one toy.
Like, yo, what you want?
No, it was like 3 toys for KB, 1 toy for us. 3 toys for KB, 1 toy for us.
A little backdoor.
Yeah, that shit was dope, dude. But my pops came back into my life, and he's like, yo, because my pops, he's like old school Cuban dude. He grew up in the cocaine cowboy area in Miami, all this crazy shit. Entrepreneur, like, I give him a lot of props, but he's crazy, my pops. He's like, yo, I'm gonna open this new shit called GNC. It wasn't around.
You had no clue what it was, probably.
No. I kind of knew what it was, but it was new to Miami, and he's just like, he came back into my life. He wasn't in my life. I was raised by my mom.
Damn.
What?
My dad was actually like that too. That's crazy. Like I want to ask you like a personal question, but I don't know how you are with that.
No, okay.
Okay. So like,
I mean, I'm telling you, I've never told this GNC story to nobody.
Okay.
Damn.
So like, your father. Do you feel like growing up, like it seems like your father was out of your life for a certain amount of time?
Yeah.
Do you feel like that like contributed to you having to grow up faster potentially, or did it change you to become more driven?
It has to do with everything. The reason why it's CrazyHood is crazy because of my pops being who he was. My dad is a Vietnam veteran. My dad came from Cuba to Miami in the Peter Pan program. I don't know if anybody knows that.
My grandparents.
Our grandparents came with that.
So he was smuggled out of Cuba or whatever the fuck they did. And they sent him to fucking Washington State. He went from the tropics to the winter.
How the fuck do you end up in Washington State?
Yeah,
Cuba?
as a fucking orphan, and then he joined the Marines without seeing his parents.
Wait, so he left without his family?
Yeah, they smuggled kids because they thought that the communists were gonna kill. Because he went to Catholic school in Cuba, so they thought that the communists were gonna kill them because of any kid of a certain age. So they smuggled them out of Cuba.
Mm-hmm.
The CIA, in conjunction with the Catholic Church, some shit like that, smuggled them out. Then he went to Washington State. 13 years old, and at 17 he joined the Marines, volunteered, went to Vietnam, volunteered.
Wow.
Most people are getting drafted.
Yo, our own president dodged.
Yeah,
Like
my dad, that's why I went, my film, Coming Home Vietnam, I went to the battlefield where my dad fought in Vietnam.
And what was that like for you?
I don't know.
Seeing that?
It was fucking
crazy.
ill.
It was like chilling as fuck. Like
Well,
you're there, like what the?
It's a famous. It's not famous. That's the wrong word.
But like
It's
in
an
Vietnam War history.
Historic.
It's Khe Sanh. If you look at any history stuff about Vietnam, Khe Sanh is an infamous base for the Marines. The most north, meaning closest to the enemy that the Marines had, and it was like always under siege. And a lot of people died there. And I went to that. It took me hours to get to those mountains to get there. Boom. But that was my whole point. It was my coming home also. I went to Cuba. That was my coming home. This was also my coming home.
How was your experience in Cuba?
That was another amazing thing because being who's Cuban here?
All of us.
All
Oye,
of us.
bro, nosotros somos cubanos también.
So I don't know if it.
Damn, all y'all Cuban?
Yeah,
all of
bro.
us. Yeah.
I don't know if it's.
I'm half Cuban, half Nica.
Well, I mean, I
Okay.
think it's kind of the similar thing, even Nika, because you guys went through the same thing with the Sandinistas and everything.
Oh, your dad, bro. Your dad went through fucking war.
Yeah,
So-
my dad went through war.
I don't know. I don't know if age is a difference, but for me growing up, it was never conceived that anybody in our family would go to Cuba or should go to Cuba.
I feel that right now, yeah.
During, if the fucking communists are there in any resemblance, you should never go there.
That's what we've been taught.
I got a question, but
Yeah.
I don't know how. I
But
don't know how you.
but what happened? No. But what happened was, because I grew up staunch, like I grew up under that hardcore conservative Cuban
Yeah,
ideology.
you are how you're raised, basically.
Yeah, but when I started to become my own man, I started to see a different world, and I started doing like reading about history and seeing. Wait, hold up, guys. This shit isn't as close-minded as we're thinking it is. So what I decided is that I wanted to go to Cuba regardless and see Cuba. Actually, I knew it was gonna open up eventually.
Well, yeah, of course.
So I'm like, I want to see Cuba kind of like the Roman Empire before there's Taco Bell and McDonald's on the corners.
Yeah.
So I wanted to see that. So I'm like, I went in 2012, right before it was like 6
Yeah.
months before Obama
Embargo.
opened it up,
Wow.
and it was hard to get in. It wasn't easy to get in. Actually, they almost didn't let us in when we were there. They almost didn't let us
They
in.
have like a whole stringent process with this?
No, they're fucking stupid over there, bro. When you get there, we had like a fake letter, like not fake. It was a letter like saying a culture exchange, but they were like they just want money, bro. It was ridiculous.
Fuck.
But it was fucking a life-changing experience for me.
Really?
Because we were raised to think if you go to my grandma, actually, rest in peace to my grandma that passed away recently. When I came back, she didn't want to see no pictures. She didn't want to see no video. She's like, fuck you. Not fuck me like in person,
Yeah.
but fuck you for going.
It hurts.
She still loved
it
me.
stings.
But she's like, fuck you for going.
It's kind of like, you know, in some way like an ex, you know? Like, you're just like,
It's what's the word that I always tell people? It's like it's a taboo thing for Cuban
Yeah.
Americans.
My grandparents were the same way.
Yeah.
You know, and my parents actually, you know, my grandparents were the same way. I have family that they were in prison. They got their houses
Yeah.
taken away, their business taken away, and my whole life, I'm 21, like I said, and my whole life, my parents have always been like, we're never going to Cuba again. Well, not again. Like, my dad was born in Cuba, but left with the Peter Pan thing. But yeah, they said we're never gonna go as long as there's communism there. And out of nowhere, I think it was like 5-6 months ago, my dad, we're in the car in the driveway, and he asked me, how would you feel about a trip to Cuba? And I was here like, what? For 5 minutes, I started talking. I didn't answer his question because I was just so like, my mind is running in circles. Because, you know, you're raised, fuck that shit.
Yeah.
And they're telling you, oh, wait, let's just go do it now. And you're like, what? And he's like, yeah, you know, I want to see where my ancestors were, my family and all that stuff. And that, when I heard all that stuff, you know, my dad was born in Cuba. Imagine this. You were born somewhere and you don't even know where, like, what the place you were born in looks like. He knows nothing, doesn't know anything about the culture. He just knows what his mom showed him and his dad left him everything. So he, like, went through a lot. But you know what it is? Like, now like, he's 59 years old and now is when he's going to have that experience. Like, shit, I wish you could talk to him and tell him about that.
Well, let me tell you what I did do. I went, didn't tell my family. I told my mom.
Yeah.
And what she said? What she think about it?
My mom is like fickle. She's like, my mom is actually really like liberal, but she gives in because it's like the cute, you know, like they're fed that
bro.
shit
It's
so
what
much.
yeah.
So the conservative side is so like always on her that she's like,
Yeah, my mom's the same.
But my mom is kind of cool about
Yeah.
it. Like she's like, yeah, like she don't know, but she, whatever. She's like, whatever, go do you. On the low, she's like, go.
Yeah.
But she can't say it out loud.
Yeah.
So I do what I do, and I do the film and everything, and actually the film was well received, and we did Spanish like TV and radio, and people were like, "Yo, these guys," because I wanted to be sensitive to my family. So even though I might have a little bit more liberal ideologies about Cuba, I do understand that times are different, and maybe what I'm seeing wasn't what they saw.
Yeah.
And we have to understand that. So I kind of was like in the film, my narrative was like, let's people to people, but let's understand what happened here, and let's be respectful of history here.
Yeah, there's something that happened.
So it was cool. Like it was cool. Like a lot of like conservatives even kind of like my film. You know?
Really?
Yeah. So what this did that changed, I think, a lot was I was able to convince my mom and take her back to Cuba.
Wow.
After fucking 50-something years of her not being there, she walked her old neighborhood, saw her old.
What was the look
friends.
on her face like?
Bro, actually, my mom's fucking damn near died on me because she fainted on me.
She was in that much.
Wow.
Because it was so. Actually,
Surreal.
this is one of the things that happened. I mean, it's a lot of things that happened. So, she was so excited when I finally like, would you go? And she's like, yeah, and I was planning it. An old friend of hers, her old best friend from Cuba, and her old best friend had come to Miami actually, and you know would go back because she lived in Cuba.
Yeah.
And she's like, you know, they can't go into the hotel, like the big hotels. Like,
You can't.
they can't normally go in there. So what we were gonna do is rent out the room, and her friend was gonna come into and hang out with us in the hotel. We were gonna have a grand old time, whatever. Show her friend a good time. Her friend died right before we. Like literally the day that we got there, she died. So
Yeah, it just knocks the whole like trajectory of your trip off in a way.
No,
Like initially.
It fucked it up. And so that happened, and then we went to her neighborhood, and she saw her other old best friend, and they walked in there, and I have mad footage of it, and it's fucking dope. And she sat, the fucking rocking chairs in front of her old house were still there.
That's
in her old neighborhood. And she sat on them, and then some fucking old drunk man looked her direction and called her by her like kid name, like Consuelito. And she's like, what? And he's like, yo. Like he recognized her, like almost like it was back in the day.
Yo, that's so fucking freaky.
So my mom, like, and so all of that was just too much emotional. And, and like
Yeah.
when we got back to the hotel, she like fainted on me, and I thought she died, and I thought I was my mom. And I was like, oh fuck, all the fucking Cubans that are our family that hated us coming here, we're gonna be like, I told you so. You killed your mom, motherfucker.
That's fucking crazy, bro.
Yeah, and just to give a lot more context to all of this, and actually this has no context to this, but I'm proud of it because I discovered it later in life. My uncle, my great uncle, which is my mom's uncle, was the president of Cuba for one day.
Whoa.
So our family,
how are you the president of one day?
He was the general of the army, and there was no vice president.
That's
in
so
Cuba.
fucking dope.
What the fuck?
I see.
General Herrera. He actually has his own Wikipedia.
Oh my god.
Yeah, and so I'm like, yo, I'm mad Cuban. So
Like, y'all loyalty, motherfucker. Like, yo, who the hell can say that someone in their family
Yeah,
is president for
crazy.
even one
yeah.
day?
So you can look
That's
it up.
unbelievable.
His name is General Herrera. Franchi is his other surname, and that's my mom's like my grandfather's brother.
My
Wow.
great grandfather was, I don't know which direct ordinance, but back then like they're divided by ordinances.
Yeah.
And he was the governor of a section like of Cuba. And I don't remember what section it was, but like I had to talk to my mom. But yeah, like my grandma, like she was in that family, and like we have like she has like 11 other brothers and sisters. So they all flew to Minnesota. So that was like their story of like.
So y'all went to Minnesota. That's where y'all went.
They went to Minnesota, and then my grandma and my grandpa went to New York, had my mom, and then they came to Miami.
Wow.
That's crazy as fuck.
Yeah, my family was spread out: Jersey, LA, and Miami.
You
That's
know-
where my family is.
You know what's crazy? I've never even met my dad's side of the family besides like my grandma, because there's just so much beef there. Like, and they're all over the country, but like my dad, I've never heard anything about that side of the family. But like, there's so much you want to learn that I want to learn. You know, because you think about it, like your family tells so much about you. Like that's your fucking story, and like that's something for me. Like in that whole process of the whole Cuban experience, like all the whole Cuban situation. it took that away from me. So like I've grown up without like one half of my story. So that's something that's like kind of frustrating. You know, I wish I could have.
Bro, just keep like look right now. Like now that I have my daughter, I did 23andMe. I did the Ancestry.com. Like I'm searching because we gotta pass it on to our kids or whatever. Like yo, look,
important.
this is your lineage. You know, like I'm trying to figure out everything about me. Like my grandfather, my dad's side, he's from Spain. There's a whole I have a whole part of my family that's in Spain, and my last name is Sicilian.
Yeah, no.
Like, that shit is crazy. Yeah.
What's your last name?
Naciandi.
Which is Nachandi, really.
I mean, that could be Spanish too.
No, it's Spanish.
No,
well, he's from Spain.
Yeah.
But
Like
in
that-
the research that my dad has done, I don't know if my dad's full of shit, but it's Sicilian. But
I mean, yo, that shit.
I'll have
It says
another
you're
one.
Italian online, so
it says it online.
it says you're Cuban and Italian.
Really?
It does.
Nah, we declared it.
We
DJ EFN
we
is
did a
Cuban.
little. We did a little
Cuban,
bit of
being
research.
Cuban.
It says you're
We
Italian.
declared it right
Like,
here.
look, wait. So
I didn't know.
wait.
It said that I was
So I'm
Italian.
curious.
That's weird.
So do you ever read your Wikipedia page as someone that's
No, I don't read.
It says, born Eric Fernando Narciandi in Los Angeles, California, to parents of Cuban and Italian backgrounds.
It should say Spanish, if anything, Cuban and Spanish.
We got,
Even though
yeah,
my
we got
grandfather
working.
went
Thank you,
to
sir.
Cuba and he was in Cuba when he was my grandmother, so the buck stops at Cuba. But my grandfather directly, my last name is definitely from Spain, but that last name supposedly is from Sicily.
Yeah.
And when and it helped me with a lot of mafia guys because I used to DJ early on for the mafia. And then,
Wait.
You gotta-
For the Russians.
Wait, what is the mafia like here? Where did you end
I
up
mean,
with
the
the mafia?
Before
Italian
hip-hop was
used
on
to
the
run
beach.
South Beach.
Wait,
No,
we have
now
an
it's the
Italian mob
Russians.
here?
The Russians,
Now
yeah.
it's the
yeah.
Yo, I never hear
That's
some
what I
shit
heard.
about that. I never hear about
I
the
mean,
mafia.
it's not much to. I mean, first of all, if there was something to talk about, I wouldn't talk about it. But straight up, nah, they used to. I don't know which family ran it. I probably knew it then, but yeah, the mob used to run South Beach, and one of the first clubs I ever DJ'd at, Union Bar was one of them, and another one. He's walking away there. He used to be there all the time. And then, again, the mob used to run it, man. And they used to always tell me, oh, man, okay, you good. Your last name, oh, you Italian. And they used to give me a pass.
They
on
take
that.
it right in there.
Cool.
Yo, you're gonna run with that shit. 100%. Like, yo, people think I'm Middle Eastern. I was like, yo.
Oh, no, after 9/11, I became fucking Middle Eastern. I'm like, bro, everybody used to be like, you Mexican, you Puerto Rican, 9/11. Oh, you're fucking from Middle East.
People think I'm from the Middle East, bro. Like, I got curly ass hair, I got the nose, the skin. Like,
Yeah,
what the
no,
fuck?
I got the nose.
I
too,
got a
bro.
question.
I got
bro.
killed.
I got a question. What is like the most racist shit you ever heard?
Towards me or towards other people?
Towards you, like, and ever, like, you know, because you do a lot of traveling and shit like that.
Well, being specific that I heard, and I use this, we talk about this all the time. I was on a conference call, so I want you guys to hear me talking to grasp what I'm saying. So I'm talking the way I'm talking to you guys, right? On a conference call, we're talking about Obama, and there's a lady in Texas. I'm talking, and then she goes, "Excuse me, sir, I don't speak Spanish."
But yeah, you're talking in English, right?
That's what the fuck?
I'm like,
That makes zero sense.
excuse me? She goes, yes, sir, I don't speak Spanish. I go, I'm not speaking Spanish, bitch.
Like, where the fuck did you get that from? Like, yo, what if you didn't speak Spanish? Then
Yo,
you're like,
I'm just saying, is my Miami accent that crazy?
Nah.
People used to tell me, oh man, you sound like you from LA because you got a different. I'm like, I used to be proud of like I didn't have a Miami accent. I know we all have a Miami
No,
accent.
yeah, for sure.
But I'm like, damn, bitch. Come on, man. My English is not that fucked up. You know what I'm
nah,
saying?
you don't need, the thing is,
Nah.
you don't even have a Miami accent, you know, and like, I'm someone that I go to UM, so hearing a Miami accent makes someone from Miami stand up more, like, I'm more, like, sensitive to it, because I'm around people from all over the fucking
Right.
world. You don't have that shit. But even, you know what's funny? There's so many people from Miami, the last thing they want is to have a Miami accent. Everyone's always
But
like,
we all
no
have
way.
it. But we all have
We all
it.
have it in
Embrace
some
it.
way.
We all
Embrace
have it. We all have it.
Yeah, and
regardless of what we think, we have it.
And you know what's funny? Like,
It's like a virus.
People
Yeah.
from
Definitely a virus.
people from New
And
York.
it might be sexy to some motherfuckers, yo.
No,
like,
no, I get
some
it.
lady might be like, ooh, shit.
They want that shit, like,
Alright.
Girls go crazy over that
Yeah.
shit, bro. I'm not gonna lie.
Yo, I have a question. What sign are you?
I'm a Gemini.
Okay.
May Gemini to be exact.
Aquemini.
Because June Geminis are not.
June Geminis are
Big
fucking
Geminis.
There's
crazy.
differences, right? There's
They're
differences.
fucking crazy.
June Geminis are the reason why we get a bad rap as Geminis.
Oh.
Yo, like me personally, I don't.
I'm sorry if
I'm
anybody
not
here's
with
a June
Gemini.
Gemini.
I'm not with
You're
Gemini.
Leo.
No, Aquarius.
I'm Aquarius.
Oh, yeah,
so
we're-
I'm-
me and him are born on the
Aquarius
same day.
is-
Crazy is cool. Leo's fucked up.
Leo, there.
Nah, he's a January Aquarius.
Leos are cool. Leo.
No.
You know who's a Leo? Weird Thoughts.
He's a Leo.
Weird Thoughts.
Me and him are born.
Leos are
on the
mad
same day.
loyal, but they're fucking crazy. Geminis were crazy, obviously, as well. You know what I'm saying? So maybe that's why we get along, but Leos are fucking nuts, bro.
Damn.
Random
I'm just
question.
chilling over here.
Yeah.
Have you ever befriended one of your idols in the industry?
All of them.
But has there been one where you're like, when you first met them, that you're like, holy shit, like you were thinking kind of like a fan, and then it ended up developing into a more personal
I mean, it goes
friendship?
from Nori to Chuck D to Redman to everybody. Like
Have you ever been disappointed, like when you
Always.
met? For real?
always is, because we're all human.
Yeah.
Yeah, you sensationalize
We're all
it,
human. Like I'm gonna disappoint somebody, they're gonna disappoint me. Like it is what it is, and then we just gotta understand. Like
It's just life.
Does that lead?
some of them are Gemini, some of them are Leo, some of them are Cancer. Like it is what it is.
Does that lead to like you thinking that you shouldn't expect anything? Like have no expectations?
I have no expectations.
Alright.
That's the best way to live life.
Yeah, man. And I just like it is what it is.
Go with the flow.
Yeah. Like you can't. What I've learned is you can't hold people on a certain pedestal.
Mhm.
Like you just gotta understand, man. Like appreciate what they do in their art, appreciate what they've contributed, but understand that we're all fucked up humans.
Yeah.
Yo, literally, we're all
Yeah.
fucked up humans.
Like, yo, look at. Did you see what happened with Mac Miller today?
About the dude that supposedly killed him.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
did you read like anything
Nah,
about the
I didn't
documents?
read the
Yo,
details.
this shit was crazy. I read that today because Brian and I are really big Mac fans, and Brian actually was the one that like put me on Mac years ago. But besides the point, you were able to see all of his text messages like between him and his plugs, and
All
yo,
of it,
he
all
would
of
yo
it,
he had
everything.
a plug that would send him a prostitute who was also a porn star to serve him, and he would fuck her.
There's multiple
And
prostitutes.
you see the text,
No.
it's 42
Like 2 or 3 of
pages.
them.
Yeah, that's fine.
of-
the fact that we shouldn't be seeing that shit.
Yeah,
Yeah,
but like,
that's, like,
it's so
disrespectful.
weird to me. Like he is dead, and yo, they even put out his fucking Venmo name.
Who's
All-
putting this shit out?
the U.S.
The
government?
government. The
They
government.
put out his
they're
Venmo.
assholes, bro.
Malcolm McCormick won. What the fuck? Why are you putting that out there?
It's all out there.
Yo, that's fucked up, dude.
It's all out there.
So if that's not any other fucking reason why all of us should get the fuck off social media.
Yo, we seriously don't have any privacy these days.
Nah, real talk. Look, man.
It's just
I
scary,
mean,
man.
look. All of us fuck up and say some dumb shit.
Yeah, I think we all
But
have that moment.
I think the older guys, we've always been careful. Like, if you don't want to get indicted on some shit, don't say this
Yeah,
shit.
exactly.
You know what I'm saying?
And there's so many people that they'll post some shit, and there's times I've caught myself typing something, and I'm like, am I gonna get into some heat for this shit? And I just take it all away. I'm like, I never said that because I realized that if it's in my own head, it can't be held against me. But as soon as I press send on that shit,
It's over.
I'm
And
done.
it's there for life.
Exactly, I'm done. Like even if I delete that, they're going to have
Can
it.
I tell y'all some conspiracy weird shit?
Run it.
Go for it.
Yo, we
That's
live
our
for that
bread
shit.
and butter.
So I don't know if you guys remember this. This is maybe 8 years ago. I don't know. This was a couple years back. They were doing some like weird exercises around downtown with Black Hawks and shit.
I haven't heard of that.
Anybody
No.
know about
Nah.
that? All right, cool. So I was at the crib one day, and people were posting like, "Yo, they're fucking flying Black Hawk helicopters in downtown around my like people that were in the apartments."
Yeah.
Like, yo, man, I see fucking people rappelling and shit.
So weird.
So I don't know if it was Twitter. I think I was on Twitter. So I'm like on Twitter, like, cause I have fun with conspiracy shit. I used to be like a super duper like conspiracy guy.
Like yo, it's a whole nother world that you didn't
Yeah,
think existed.
but I'm different now. I'm on some like, let's be careful. The conspiracy might be the conspiracy.
Yeah.
That's me now.
Yeah.
So, but I have fun with it. I think it's fun. I think it's entertaining to entertain conspiracy.
I always think we need something to kind of spice up life.
But you can't absorb yourself because then you'll never live if you're gonna live by the conspiracy.
Because then you're thinking in a bunch of what ifs.
But this is what happened to me. So they're like talking about the Black Hawk, and I'm like on Twitter like, you fucking see, motherfucker, and I'm talking shit. Boom, my fucking shit shuts down.
No,
swear to God.
No way.
Boom, no, but that's not the problem. Boom, it shuts down. I'm like, wow, that's crazy.
right quick like that.
Power all my shit up, boom, boom, turn all my shit back on. My computer, boom. Alright, cool.
Rebooting
that was a fluke, right? Go back on. Motherfucking Blackhawks. Oh shit, that's fucked up. I told you the government. Boom, the shit goes down again.
Yo, no, that's weird.
That's it. That's all that happened. But that shit was weird. Twice it was weird.
Like, there's so much weird shit that happens out there, bro.
And it was facts. They were doing some like exercises to like practice urban environments. Like they were like rappelling into the Bank of America building. They were doing all kinds of shit, but I don't know. It just happened to be mad coincidental that twice.
Yeah.
When I talked to the minute that I came back and I tweeted again, boom, the shit shut down again.
Nah, there's some weird shit happening there.
That's a little fishy.
Yeah, that shit
Bro,
was
let me
funky.
tell you something, bro. Like, I don't know if you ever go on settings, but like apps like Instagram and Twitter,
You're
they
always
listen to
being
your
tracked, bro.
conversations.
Safari,
Absolutely.
all of that.
Yo, I bet you I'll
That's
get a
why when
fucking
you
app
say
from
something,
Modelo.
an app
It pops
comes
up.
Every
Yeah.
time.
Crazy
every
as shit,
time.
bro.
And this is the thing, though. That's what we all gotta understand. Like, even when it comes to entertainment, let's just put it on entertainment. Let's not talk about politics or any other weird shit. We understand, man. We might not be picking our own entertainment and picking what we think is dope. It might be being picked by us by weird decisions or things that we say that we might refer to. Oh man, I wish. And then it pops up.
Every
And you
thing-
think, oh shit,
Yeah.
and you fucking jam to it or whatever. Like, nah, bro. Like, I really feel like we're living in weird times where we're not being individuals anymore.
Oh my fucking god, yo, my G, you're preaching to the choir. You know what's crazy? I think us
We were having that
four,
conversation the other day.
we don't feel like. So I have so many thoughts because what you just said just fucking flipped some shit. So I'm gonna hit it with this. So us four to start, we don't feel like we were born in the right generation.
Right.
But then I asked my dad, and
Can I get a beer though? Sorry to cut you off. Can I get a beer?
Nah, he took your last beer.
Not for you, bro.
But we got
La última naguita me lo estoy jamando.
Yo, wait.
I'll take that beer.
Yo,
Wait,
wait.
you drank out of this beer?
Yo, Eric.
That's weird, bro.
Weird times. Shout out to
Eric.
Weird
There's
times.
another beer over there.
No more, se acabó.
How about this? Let's match some shots.
Colombia won. Yeah, fuck it, let's show it. You see, you read my mind. I was just saying that outside.
I'll take some shots right now.
So Paul's gonna sit down while I take a piss. Yo, Paul.
Bro, where are you from? Yo, tell me. Talk to me about yourself.
Can I tell you the first time I met EFN?
You're the fucking star of this show right here. I need to know so much
Can I
about
get a
you.
cup, please? Hey, what's going on, everybody? Shout out to the
Yo,
podcast.
put those
What's the name of the
headphones on.
podcast?
Get in with this. Further.Down South podcast.
Yeah.
Yo, if you got like fucking
Drink big,
anything
go
you
ahead.
want to say
Yeah,
whatever
we'll
you
take
want.
that up.
Yeah,
Say
what's
what
going
you
on?
said.
Oh, I didn't know.
Wait, have you ever been
Yo,
on?
Yeah?
Yeah.
All
Yo,
right,
this
so
microphones are
drink it.
super on point.
Leave it
No,
in.
yeah.
I'm point.
They
I
sound
can
fire,
stay
bro.
all the way back.
I was loud earlier. You should have told me to tone it down a little bit.
Eddie,
Hey, so check this
That's my
out. So I'm
cup
from
right
New
there.
Jersey.
Okay.
My
You
parents
gotta
are
throw it
Colombian. I was born in New Jersey. I never been to Colombia in my life.
Dude, shout out to Colombia.
Where
bro. I love
specifically in New
Colombia.
Jersey?
Passaic,
I'll
New
take it.
Jersey, which I'm in the middle between Newark and Patterson. So is my cousin Steve. We call him Oso. I don't look at him too much
Oso?
because he gets angry. All right, but so what
Thank you.
so what we do is,
That's mine,
my
bro.
parents decided to come to Florida. This is for EFN.
How old were you at this point?
16.
16, okay.
I'm 16. I did my freshman year, sophomore year of high school. I was in the beginning of junior year. Then I came over to Miami, and my cousin was already here a year, so my family knows that I'm a little rambunctious. You know, I got a good attitude, but I'm a little bit over.
You're passionate, bro. You're
That's a good word,
Yeah.
passionate. I'll take that. So then they said, let's put him somewhere where he'll be able to adjust quickly. So the best place is where my cousin is at, because you know, in a new place, you never know how you adapt. It takes a little bit longer for everybody.
It's different shit.
So I went over to Sunset, and my cousin also introduced me to a couple people, and then one of those has Donuts. That was his name.
Yo, where the fuck do y'all get these names from?
Yo,
Was he eating donuts?
it's
Like,
the-
yo.
I used to sell some donuts in school.
What's up?
The Krispy Kremes? When y'all
No,
was
we had the chocolate bar.
Yeah, we had chocolate bar.
in
No, bro,
school,
they sold
they were selling
candy.
Krispy Kreme, and
Yeah.
he would steal the donuts and
So
sell them.
Yo.
That's what I
I
did.
didn't know
Y'all,
that.
so y'all had
Quick
so
stop.
y'all had the donuts and we had the chocolate.
chocolate
Yeah.
bar.
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Wow.
They just introduced me as that. They said, "Yo, this is donuts," and I was like, "Okay," you know. So donuts introduced me to Eric. You feel me?
Okay.
So one day I'm in school and they was like, "Yo, I want to introduce you to a friend of mine. Come hang out." So he was like, "Eric, this is Paul. Paul is Eric." So I met him, and our first conversation straight up was, "Where you from? Where you from? And what kind of music you listen to?" And his shit was hip hop, and my shit was hip hop.
Everybody.
And then the following question was, "Who's your favorite rapper?" He said Ice Cube, and I said Ice Cube. And our conversation's been 26 years later. You know what I'm saying?
Wow.
We never stopped from
Yo,
there.
you know what's crazy? I actually, I was not expecting to have like a group like this here, but let me tell you guys some real shit. Like us three, and I don't mean to exclude you, but us three,
Salud.
we've known each other since we were fucking kids. Brian and I have known each other since we were 4 years old. He and I have known each other since we're 9 years old. We go way back with this shit. And I think that's something that's just so fucking special and real. Like, you motherfuckers, and you guys are older than us, but I'm gonna tell you, you guys have something special. Like, I hope that when we're your age, that we're here like this.
You'll get there. If it's for y'all gotta fight 25 people. And then that's the
Once you
way.
fight 25
Okay.
people, you're good.
I say that jokingly, but on the real, like, that's a totally
Yo,
different
you
conversation.
should take a bullet for these
We've
people.
always come across a situation that involves some type of interaction, and we've always held our ground, and we've moved on from that, from friends to at this point we're men now. So, you know, we call ourselves brothers, and we call ourselves family, but it's always a situation, whether it be in a different style of it, in a different time of hip hop, but in a different time of our lives. A fight will bring you friends, and they'll let you know who's not your
I
friend.
want
Yeah.
to fight everybody, bro.
No. I've always been the one that try to mediate and not fight. But
Lies.
You know, if someone's gonna try to fight you, though, you're gonna fucking fight.
of course, if I see somebody spit at my man, oh, he's on it.
Well, why the hell would you not hop on
If
that?
somebody
You fucking
slap,
get
if
after
somebody
it.
throw a drink in my face, it's
Yeah,
on.
oh, of course.
You know what I'm
Hell
saying? My cousin also, somebody try to snatch EFN's shirt. You know, Garcia's gonna swing, also gonna smack, and then there's 15 Timberlands in your face. It just happens.
That's just
That's some real New York shit.
It wasn't by accident.
I didn't have Timberlands on.
Okay, EFN, continue your.
Thank you.
This is our best.
Shout out to
this
it.
guy's amazing.
Shout out to
Big
it.
shout out.
Just 104.
Shout out to the whole crazy
Welcome back.
Yo, this is honestly like the best interview that I've been a part of. Like for real, like I've interviewed some people before, but like this is like just fun. Pat Riley, you know, yeah, obviously you know Pat Riley, Tony Ferrantino.
Oh,
Shit, come on. Pat
Yeah,
Riley, come on.
Pat Riley. No, yo, you know what's crazy?
As well.
I always talk to people like even a dude, they don't know who the fuck Pat Riley is.
Oh, listen,
Hold
I'm
on.
not a sports guy, and I know who Pat Riley is.
You interviewed Pat Riley? Pat Riley?
What's up?
Pat Riley,
Pat
man?
Riley, Pat Riley.
Pat Riley.
I've talked to the man. I swear to God.
Dope.
I got you right here, G. I met the guy.
See, that's a
Show
beautiful
me
thing right there. That's
your
dope.
selfie with
Wow.
I got my selfie and I got my article right
Come on, Pat.
I was 17 years old. 17 years old.
Hey, you look mad young.
Yeah.
I was straight out of kindergarten, bro.
Bro, senior year of high school. Yo, but you know what it is?
Don't show porn.
Finish your beer.
Colombia killing the game right now.
Yo, now that you got me, you know, talking about that, I want to go back to something that you were saying that, you know, when we were talking about the people that get creeped out whenever someone random comes up to them. Have you ever thought that it's weird how people, they kind of idolize people in a sense? Like they kind of put them on this pedestal to be where they're a god, and then they kind of take it personal when someone doesn't, like, give them attention. Like, I don't think that it's right how we're putting people on such a pedestal because, you know, I don't know if you've heard this. This is something in our generation that we hear more often. Mac Miller, for example, he said this. He said that he was afraid that music was becoming more of a religion than religions themselves. So people are starting to follow music more, but people are starting to stray away from who they are.
J. Cole was talking about the same thing when he was interviewing with Angie Martinez.
She's coming up on Drink Champ soon.
Wow.
Yo,
Yeah.
wait, how can I
She's
get on
in
Dream
New York.
Chart? How can I get on?
On Drink Charts?
Champ. Listen,
This is a new podcast.
This shit is starting to hit me right now.
It's all good, bro. I'm fucking with you.
Yo, no, I know you are.
Yeah.
I have thick skin, bro. Don't worry. But yo, how do I get on this shit before we continue with this?
What do you mean get on there?
Like drink
No,
chips? Like what?
This isn't some type of.
Dang, I gotta put it on the air to ask how to get on. Like, wow,
Yeah,
that's a bold move. That's a bold move.
We deal with like older artists that
Older artists,
10
okay.
years in the game or something like that.
Freddie Gibbs.
Freddie Gibbs was on there. Yeah, he was dope, man.
Who's someone you want?
I've seen so many of those episodes. Like I've seen Freddie Gibbs. I've seen Premier and Pete Rock. That one was
Pete Rock,
that one
bro.
was amazing.
Karen Swan was one of my favorites.
Yes, I saw some of that one. I saw the LL Cool J one.
Yeah, that was dope.
I saw who else? I saw you guys had Busta Rhymes on there like twice, right?
Nah, actually, we haven't had him. We had him on, but we never saw the light of day.
Okay.
The episode was recorded, but never saw the light.
And the Nas one, obviously, like.
So it's like a hidden tape, kind of.
Yeah, basically.
No, I've just been like a huge fan of like that show. Like,
Thank you.
I love the artists in this generation, but I also have I take an appreciation for artists like from the old generation, like 90s type. I really like, you know, listening and experimenting with music, and those artists that you guys have had on there, and you and Noriega like had just opened up a lane that's never been seen before.
Yo, I'm just gonna say, you're the fucking man.
Yeah.
You are the fucking man.
I'm not, bro.
No. You know what? You're gonna tell me you're not.
Yeah,
Listen, like put all that like humble
That's
stuff
a
aside.
Colombian white top.
Like yo, I'm gonna tell you straight up, you are the fucking man. Like, do you hear the names this man just rattled off?
Bro, to be real, like you're putting on for like Cuban Americans.
I mean, I'm putting on for us for sure.
You're putting up for Miami.
Like,
For us in Kendall in Miami,
like
Cubans, if you want to say.
I don't know if you realize what you're doing, but like
No,
it affects.
I do
all
that.
of us,
I do
bro.
that. I do that like I'm trying to do that. That's what I'm doing, like on purpose. You know what I'm saying? Because they always try to like sideline us. You know, whether it be Hispanics or Cubans or whatever, and there's always weird conversations about race and this and that.
Yeah.
And I'm like, yo, bro, I don't give a fuck. I'm Cuban, B. That's my point. Like, fuck all the other bullshit. Latinos have been in hip hop from the beginning. Don't get it twisted.
Yo, we're just a part of that as everyone else, bro.
Absolutely. But I always tell people, like, when we're gonna talk about like if we're gonna get really deep right now, I don't know if we're trying to get deep.
Yo, let's get balls deep, bro.
We're down for whatever.
Yo, listen, this fucking podcast will get as deep
This
as you need
podcast
it
is
to.
getting many horas later.
Well, okay, so.
No, I'm good until 11.
Till 11? We'll definitely let you out before.
Yeah.
Don't you worry about that.
Yeah. I got my daughter at home.
We definitely know you got a life to live outside of this moment right here.
But what I try to tell people is like this: like Latinos, we're a part of hip hop, absolutely. But Latinos, we have to understand something too. Our culture is also African culture.
True.
Yeah.
Yo, talk about this later.
Everything that we hold dear in our culture is African culture. So for anybody to be like, oh, Latinos are a part of it, yeah, motherfucker, you need to understand. Our culture, the music, the dance, the food is African culture.
Yes, sir.
So to negate that, you're negating everything about your own culture. So that's what I try to tell people. Like, if someone is like, let's just say African American or a black person say like, oh, Latinos are not a part of it. No, we're fucking part of hip hop.
Psych as fuck, motherfucker.
Like in the Bronx, who was fucking breakdancing? Who was doing graffiti? Who was part of Cold Crush Brothers? Latinos.
You know what? I feel like we
But
did side by side.
every Latino needs to understand something. It's still black culture.
100%.
Because black culture is African culture, and our culture is African culture.
And you know what pisses me off a lot? You know, I'm not someone that's black, but it really bothers me.
Obviously, someone's pissed at you right now.
So, like, it pisses me off when people are using the N-word, just tossing that shit out there like it's nothing. Like, I don't know, like, for me...
I mean, I don't know what we're talking about now. Like, you're going to the N-word? That's a whole other culture.
Well, yo,
thing.
we're talking about the cultures lining
your
up
opinion on
alongside
that?
each other.
That's a difficult thing to talk about because we grew up on saying nigga.
No, yes.
And it's not right. It's not right. At the end of the day, it's not right. But some of us grew up on, like I had a conversation with my friend the other day. And we're talking about, like, saying gay jokes, right? And he's like, but do you say faggot? And I'm like, yeah. He's like, that's wrong. But I don't mean it in a wrong way. He's like, but that's wrong. And I'm like, well, fuck, we're all wrong then. Everything is wrong that we're saying. So we have to get to a place in the crossroads. I don't know if it's a generational thing where you could say things because you're from a different generation, or you can't. It's complicated.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like when I say, oh, you a faggot, I'm not anti-gay. You know what I'm saying?
Not at all.
But that's wrong. It sounds wrong to a gay person that's like, yo, that's derogatory to me.
But in a generation where you were raised and you came up from, that was like...
No, I have a gay cousin who says you're a faggot.
No,
I have a gay cousin who says the same shit.
What I'm trying to say, he's from my generation.
Exactly.
So he says the same shit.
But here's the thing, like, your generation, this is why we were talking about wanting to have grown up in a generation like that. You guys didn't have all of this fucking sensitivity going on around you, because the reason, at least for me, the reason I believe we're so fucking sensitive is because everyone...
There's no more beer, damn it.
Oye, bro, mira, aguardiente. That's what we do.
We do got aguardiente.
Damn.
Listen, you're giving me a fucking insane taste testing right here. But
I feel like I'm disturbing the youth right now. I got you.
That's brand new.
Legally, it's not.
Another show.
But
And you just fucked up Kendall Podcast Studios.
No.
Kendall Podcast Studios is the place to get fucked up, boys. I'm telling you right now.
Keyboard, thank God.
But what I was saying was, I feel like a lot of people in your generation, I'm not even gonna say that they're less sensitive to things, but I think they're more accepting of what genuine human life is like, you know. And
can I say something real quick though?
100%.
I think it's so odd to hear your generation when you're saying it to me, and you're completely right to say that, because first of all, when I try to explain to people, like when we started right out of high school, 1993, young kids just storming, like trying to do what we were doing, and everybody used to be like, "Damn, y'all some young motherfuckers."
That's how we feel right now too.
When we went to the Source magazine in New York, we just stormed there, and they were.
Y'all went to the Source.
Damn.
Yeah, when the Source, the Source.
That's what I'm saying. Like,
And
I know what it was back then.
You know what they called us? The young Latino Wu-Tang Clan kind of Miami, which was weird.
That sounds weird. Yeah.
It sounds weird, but I was like kind of like cool with it, you know?
I wouldn't want to sound like anybody else. I want to be like my
No,
own
but
type.
I mean, Wu-Tang was dope, so...
Yo, if someone told you sound like Kendrick Lamar, you're like, bro, fuck yeah. You're gonna take that.
I mean, I don't really care about comparisons. I just want to be me. You know?
Absolutely. But what I'm trying to say is that, like, I don't know. I just lost my train of thought again.
You walked into Source.
I'm going to make a point right here. Sorry to interrupt you,
go
but
for it.
I think that that's actually an amazing thing, because I'm going to imagine that you were in some way influenced by the Wu-Tang Clan when you were listening
I mean,
to
part of it.
in some way you were influenced by them. So
My ultimate influence was NWA and
NWA, okay.
Those were my ultimate
It's always interesting to me, like, when some people actually take offense. Hold up, let's take this shot right here.
Hold up, shot.
Shot.
You're the killer.
Well, we got one right here.
No, I'm not killing that.
Yeah,
That's
the
next
Tú eres cubano.
Camera.
Tú eres cubano.
We go take the shot.
see, that was bullshit.
Yo, we've had this camera here. We gotta give it some attention.
Give it attention, bro.
There you go.
Now.
Shout out.
Shout County in the building.
Hey.
All fucked up on Colombia.
I took my shot earlier.
Oh yeah.
Wow, yo, like this is
Bottle
shit
of
like a
shots,
familial experience for me right here. Like, I don't know any of you on a personal level, but I swear to God, like, I feel like all of you, and you guys haven't even said a word, but the fact that you guys have been here as long as you have, it's 10:08, and you walked into a room with 4 random 21-year-old motherfuckers, and you guys are sitting here, and you guys are supporting your boy, like, and you guys, yo, if you guys want to hop in on this shit, you guys are hop in on this shit.
That's CrazyHood, first of all. And that's what you all should be, you guys should aspire to do that as well. You know what I'm saying? Like, our crew has been that. And that's what I've always appreciated about my crew. 1993 to date, there's still people around, a part of it. You know what I'm saying? Like, whether they directly get benefits from it or don't, they're still a part of what we're doing.
Because that's love, and I think that's, I think that's how it should be, like, just in everything in life. There's a lot of people that if they were in their shoes, let's say you take someone else and you put them in their shoes right now, they're gonna be thinking, damn, am I getting some paycheck out of this shit? Am I getting something? Am I getting something?
And people need to understand, there's no real paychecks in this shit.
Yeah.
It's love.
Like this business is not making money. Let's be clear.
Mm-hmm.
Very true.
Let's be fucking clear. It's random when you make good money. So anybody out there aspiring to be an artist and do this and do that and be a podcast and this and that, like Drink Champs was lightning in a bottle. Be real clear. We happen to be at the right time in the right place to make it happen.
And that's life. I think that's life.
And now everybody's doing a podcast. And not everybody is gonna be as successful or make the same amount of money. What I would say to you is this: do whatever you do from the heart, genuine, passion, love what you do, be into it. Make that be your paycheck. Yo, I love doing this shit. I love doing it with my people.
It's not about money.
Yeah, man. And then if you make money, right, because you're doing most of the work, and he does it, but he still sees like, yo, whatever, I'm gonna do this job, but you're still my homie, but I'm still gonna support you. That's what CrazyHood is.
That right there is that's what the epitome of love and putting your ego aside is. Because these dudes right here, I don't even know you guys, but I know that the reason that they're still here is because they love you. And I'm drunk as fuck right now, so I'm just yo, listen, I have not had dinner.
I thought you were gonna tell him you love him.
I love you.
I love you, man.
I want drink that really hit me hard, but I'll be real, like, you guys are here because it's just love. And I don't even think, music, when you think about it, I don't think it's something that, when it started out, anyone had an idea that it would become what it is today.
Definitely not.
Like, think about the first fucking person that made the first beat or started singing. Did they ever think that money would, they didn't even know what money was. But think about.
I think they knew money.
No,
Well, I'm just thinking like barbaric.
They didn't know they could get money from it.
Yeah, they didn't know the value that what they were doing had.
Yeah.
So think about this, like, you guys are here all the way now. Would you say that you would be where you are today without your boys?
No.
Not
never.
at all.
I always say that. Never.
Exactly. They're
Never.
just as much a part of this story as you are, and that thing,
Absolutely.
And a lot of people out there, like, I'm gonna tell you something. Like, there's a lot of people that don't realize just how much like support means to somebody.
Let me explain something. Could I do it? Yes.
Oh, of course.
Could I do it without my friends? Would I want to do it? No.
That's what I mean. Like,
That's the difference. That's the difference.
They're a part of your story. Like,
That's the difference.
Yeah.
Like, dude, I could go and travel. I could do this. I could do it. Do I want to do it without my dogs? Without my people that we all did this together? Fuck no, because it changes the dynamic of what we started. What it's all about.
It doesn't have the value anymore.
This
Or
is
the same value.
This is really important. I'm an only child, right?
Okay.
So my friends became my brothers.
You motherfuckers.
Yo,
are
you're
so
hitting a
many
chord
things.
right now. No, real talk. So when hip hop became, and then also, I'm raised by a single mother, right? Hip hop became my father, which sounds weird and corny.
Yo, that's
I
real.
completely
That's
understand
real.
that. So hip hop is my father, and then my friends are my brothers. What did I do? I said, you know what? Fuck this shit, man. This is the best time of my life right now. Now I get life. I'm gonna encapsulate this. I want to create this for the rest of my life. 1993 comes, CrazyHood Productions become. I'm trying to keep my friends. I'm trying to keep this together for as long as I can. And that's what I did. What I tried to do. I don't know what their idea is. This is what my idea is when I was creating CrazyHood. Because these are my brothers, you know what I'm saying? And they made me feel safe and good and whole and consistent about my life, because before that my life was inconsistent. It was crazy. It was all over the place. My father was not around. I'm from LA. I'm traveling back and forth. Like, now my life is consistent.
Till you met me. Word.
Definitely.
Yo, I just met you right now. My life got better.
If anything, Paul makes my life inconsistent. I feel safe with you. Like,
Yo, I need you around more often.
I'm a Leo.
That's Coach Stokes. That's Coach
All I
Stokes.
say to you is this.
Yeah,
Feel safe with Paul, but if a cop stop you, don't feel safe with Paul.
He will say,
Oh no, we're
fuck
gonna spend
you.
the night in jail, but fuck it.
I forgot Paul was here, goddammit. But anyways, you know what I'm saying, though. Like, listen, if this is your unit, bro, like, try to keep it together, like, and understand that it varies in what it means to be together, because our unit varies. Like, people realize we were all trying to do the music together from 93 on, and it didn't make sense because it wasn't bringing in revenue.
And so people went to school, people created careers, people did this. But what was more important is that our bond still kept everybody loyal to the idea of what we were trying to do. So if one person was still doing it, mostly was me or Paul, and then Boris later on, people rallied behind that. And that's what real friendship is. You know what I'm saying? People that stay consistent with you.
With us, it's just crazy because like everyone that's a part of like what we've done has been connected to us or like someone involved. Like I've been with them, those three, like my entire life. And then I met him in college, like, you know, when I was in class or whatever.
What college y'all went to?
I'm going to Miami-Dade currently. Like, I'm doing music.
I went to Miami-Dade too.
I'm doing, yeah. Shark Ride.
My mom worked at Miami-Dade too.
Shark Ride. Nah, but we like, honestly, like,
I'll take this call for a sec, gentlemen.
we've all been together, like, literally, like, our entire lives. Like, this is, to pursue things like this is, like, literally what we wanted to do. And, like, it doesn't even end with us here. There's so many people involved.
Right. Yeah, man. There's really a lot.
It's just a contribution at the end. Like everyone has something to put on the table. Whether it's like videos, photography, shows, music, getting us connects, anything. Like we just have so many people involved, and that's something like we're so adamant in, and like not breaking up. We want to keep that together.
Dude, just to add that on, like, I feel like we have a story to tell. Like, you know, you hear a lot of rappers, like, from North Dade and shit like that, from, like, North Miami Beach, Carroll City and shit like that.
There used to be a beef between South and North.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Like,
And Miami, that was the hip-hop beef.
I feel like, bro, like, people in South Dade, like, Kendall, Westchester, like, all those hoods and shit like that, bro, we have a story to tell because our neighborhoods, like, they were made from literally drug money, bro.
And that's something you even like were mentioning, and I heard the podcast.
But it's real.
And you were mentioning that like our neighborhoods are literally built off of drugs.
Yeah.
Bro, and like you go to like other suburban like neighborhoods in America, bro.
It's
not the same.
It's not the same.
We're a different mindset.
I always say that Hispanics are like fast people. We like to do shit fast, bro. We drive fast.
Impatient.
That's why impatient. That's why we get into car accidents and shit like that. That's why you see a lot of road rage going on in fucking Miami. That's how I always think of it, you know, and like
we just live fast.
We live fast. And like sometimes it hinders us because we always want shit like this, you know, when we have to put in the work gradually.
Have you ever thought of what the impact of like all this technology and shit has had on us when we're
and
naturally
bad.
like that?
It's good and bad.
I feel like it really isn't a good thing because it just makes us even more impatient.
Right.
But
so,
it gives you the opportunity to push your brand out.
Oh yeah, there's always
Yeah,
benefits
like
to that. Like for you as well, like it gives you like an opportunity to push your brand out. And
Anybody that wants a brand or like wants to promote themselves in any type of way, they can do that with social media. But like if you're spending all your time on there, then that's kind of like.
But the thing is, there's people that can take advantage of that, and you think that they're doing it from an independent standpoint, and they're not.
Exactly.
And that's the issue, that we're being manipulated to believe that people are popping when they're not popping for real.
And they're
Bro,
just
they're just industry plans. Yeah, I was gonna ask you about that. Obviously you probably know about that. What's your opinion on industry plans?
Industry plans?
if that's even a thing.
No,
there's definitely a thing.
I mean, but describe what you think is an industry
So
plan.
someone like Russ, to us. Do you know Russ?
Yeah, no, we had him on Drink Champs. He's about to come out with
Okay, fire.
Okay.
I don't think he's an industry plan.
No?
To be honest with you.
Okay, wait, no, this is perfect because
Okay,
he-
no.
yeah.
I'll explain it to you. Someone that doesn't really have a history of making music, but their beliefs like coincide with what is popularly believed in society now. So they're placed into this industry to make music
to make money,
will
ultimately.
make money, but it coincides with pop culture.
So you think Russ is that?
I never said Russ, but someone I will say is
Bro,
someone like Lil Nas X, for example.
Right.
Me personally, like no disrespect to him, but I would picture him more as an industry plan because he's someone that coincides more with like popular belief
So
now, pop culture.
So the definition of a plant to you is that someone grabs someone and says, "I think this works now," and puts it out.
Yeah, like a label.
It's like a trend.
A trend. Someone that sees someone that's a trend grabs them and be like, "Look, say this, do this, and do that, and you'll get money."
You basically get
And
the
they
Drake
do
of the
that.
moment.
I'm gonna tell you why I don't believe in that so much. I'm gonna tell you that the industry is always trying to do that.
It's always been like that.
They're always trying to do that. They've been always trying to do that.
Do you feel in? Sorry to
And no,
interrupt. Okay,
real
yeah,
quick.
yeah.
They're always trying to do that, and it doesn't work all the time. So you could say that, and maybe you're right about 1 out of 100, but they're always trying to do that.
Yeah.
Okay.
You know what
That
I'm
would
saying?
work.
Like, I don't know if that makes sense to you, but
No, I completely understand.
so I couldn't say that about one particular artist because that artist is trying on their own behalf.
On their own accord, yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And maybe an A&R is like, oh, it might make sense right now, you know? But the industry, like, labels are always on that shit, you know? Always. But you can't blame the artist for that.
Well, yo,
and that's why I blame the label for that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I blame the label for that because like why? It's just manipulation at that point. That's what I believe. Like,
But the reason why I say, like, let's be careful with that is because that artist that you might be mentioning, God forbid that person's been struggling and trying to make it.
I just named an example.
No,
I
I know. I'm just saying, like, I understand what people go through sometimes, and like, and I've seen it. Like, what I tell people is this: to make it in the industry, there's two things: there's paying dues and luck. You could just luck out, bam, and you fucking pop. DMX took 20 years before he made a record.
Yo,
like,
Jay didn't make it till he was 26.
26.
So what I'm trying to say is, like, you just never know. It's all about persistence, consistency, all of that.
EFN always said consistency is key.
You know,
Consistency.
of course, there's pop artists and label created things. You know what I'm saying? But even those people, we gotta give them credit. They worked their ass off.
No, like Lil Nas X came up with a hit, like.
But we don't know him. We don't know all his story. Like
exactly. That's what I'm saying. Like, I was just naming an example.
No. I know.
Like,
It's just I'm always careful because we
These are
just don't know. We just don't know, and being that we don't know, we shouldn't be conspiracy theorists on that level because being an artist, myself and all of us here, we're all doing art. We know the struggle. So imagine if someone were to negate your struggle because they say you're an industry plant.
Okay.
You know, like, we might as well just be like, that exists, but we don't know if it's you. But we could talk about it.
And you know what's crazy? Now that, it's funny enough how I brought up the conversation of, like, one of those industry plugs or whatever. Can you blame that person for taking advantage? If that were the case, can you blame? No, you literally can, because then it just becomes something of people being hypocritical. Like, you're gonna fucking take that opportunity if it gets thrown right in your face. Like, it doesn't matter what kind of artist you are. If someone tells you, yo, I believe in you, I'm gonna throw you all this money and you're gonna get tours out of it, fuck yeah, I'm taking that. The same thing with athletes. Like, I just think I've actually been watching more of this First Take shit. Like, I'm kind of going more off, like, track now, but I've been watching so many sports talk shows, and I'm hearing so many people talking about people.
Dream Chat Sports can talk about that.
Yo, we gotta make a podcast right here. I gotta have you on some shit.
Right.
I swear to God,
That's Coach Thoughts. Coach Thoughts.
You would have the most like, damn, we gotta talk sports. But so many people are saying, like, oh, is Ezekiel Elliott worth this? You're literally debating what someone is worth.
Right.
If you think about it in some way, like, this guy is out here, he has not gotten to this point where you were even able to debate if he's worth $90 million without him having worked his ass off, taking all these hits, and God forbid, like, this happens, but there's a possibility that he even gets C2E from trying to get that $90 million for a 5-year long contract.
Right.
These dudes are out sacrificing lives, and we're actually giving attention and paying people who are bringing these people down. I feel like so much of the media today is just so predicated upon negativity, and I think we should be more so celebrating the successes of those out there, and that's not to say that we shouldn't shun that we should shun the negativity that's out there in the world, because obviously you need to put a light on shootings. Like, for example, you remember a few weeks ago when there were 2 shootings, right, in Texas and then somewhere else. Where was
Ohio. Texas.
In Ohio. No, there was one in Ohio.
Yeah.
I actually, so I'm on Snapchat, and I'm in a group chat with some people that are Mac Miller fans, and we got people from all over the country. on that same day, there was a shooting in West Virginia where someone was shot in a bar, but no national attention was brought to that.
Right.
That right there showed me, and I've worked in the media before, and I'm going to be working in the media actually, so I shouldn't be saying this, but the media just really controls what exactly is the narrative in life. You know, we're just living our lives according to the story that the media is writing for us. I think, like, and it's not necessarily us, but a lot of the people out there, I think a lot of people need to start getting away from that, because you know what? You guys grew up in a time where all this shit wasn't possible, where there's Twitter every 2 seconds, you see all this shit.
And
none of that happens. And you know what? Me personally, like, I've talked to people and I've, watched documentaries. I think life was just fine back then. I don't think that we need to be as reliant upon technology, because to a certain degree, I think it's kind of hindering us as a people and it's holding us back. But yeah, I'm talking way too fucking much. But
no, I mean, I think you're right, but I think you wouldn't know the difference.
I wish I knew the difference.
That's the problem. So what's gonna happen is there's gonna be a correction. I think that your generation or a future generation is gonna be like, fuck that shit. That shit is whack, and we don't want to deal with it anymore.
Yeah.
It might be extreme what they do. That generation, they might be like, I don't want none of that fucking social media shit. So really, at the end of the day, it's gotta be a balance, man.
Yeah.
Like the thing is, like, for example, I'm gonna give you a real good example. My girl is 10 years younger than me, right? So she...
Bro, just to pause that real quick. That's some Cuban ass shit, dog.
What?
Bro, that's like my grandparents. Like, my grandfather was like 80 something, my grandma was like 60
No,
something.
my grandfather and my grandmother were like 20 years.
Bro, no.
So
That's the real shit.
So my girl was posting on Facebook shit, like talking about a lot of shit, and I'm like, yo, what's up with all that, man? That shit is crazy to me, you know? So what I was trying to explain, and then she would tell me, yo, you on social media just the same.
Mm-hmm.
But I was trying to explain to her, is like, nah, man, I grew up in a time without social media. So me, I'm a marketer, I'm a promoter, I'm in the music industry, so I'm gonna use these tools. You know what I'm saying? So
when you need to.
No, not when I need to, but I also understand to use them validly, people need to think that I'm using them all the time. So I need to pretend like I'm always posting shit.
You have an image to uphold.
Where my girl was posting her shit, like for real, like her life.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I don't get that.
I
You understand? I don't know if you get what I'm saying.
Yeah, I used to be that person who would post my whole life, but now, just because for some reason, like, I went through some shit this year and I've just taken a step back, I find it, I'm not going to say ridiculous, because at some point I did, but I always just find it...
You want another Modelo? Me too, bro.
I find it interesting when you have those people that just feel like there's a necessity to be telling everyone what's going on in their lives.
Fuck that.
Because this is just, again, we're getting deep. Would that then not mean that they're not happy with what they're doing? Because if they're going out somewhere to take a picture or a video for someone to see on a story, then that means that they're going somewhere just for that validation, which means they're chasing it and they don't have it within.
Well, no, actually, the point that I was trying to make to you is very different.
Okay.
Which is that I'm coming from a place where I'm a marketer, and I know what I'm doing.
You're very calculated.
Versus someone that grows up in the generation where they're just posting about their life.
You see, but then hold on.
I'm sorry.
You're
I
good.
just want to make a point.
Yeah.
So I'm telling her, no, man, I'm doing it because I know algorithms and I'm trying to match the algorithms, and I just want to market shit. You are starting to post about your real fucking life. I'm curating what I want the public to see, because I just want them to see what I really want to promote. That's very different.
100%, that's completely different.
So the generation, her generation, and the ones below that, it's normal to talk about everything under the sun and throw it out there. And I'm like, nah, bro, fuck that shit. I'm curating it, not because I'm hiding it, just because I understand the power of that shit.
Oh yeah, have you ever thought about something like, at least for me, you know, and I'm nowhere near like on the level, just in society in general, that you are on, or any of you guys. But have you ever thought of the possibility that
Of the mic sounding like that?
Sound like that? Damn, this shit's rough. Have you ever thought of the possibility that there's someone that for the rest of your life, why is this acting up? For the rest of your life, they will never have met you, but they will probably at some point have looked at your Instagram if you have one, or your Twitter or anything, and there's a possibility that that person got a wrong impression of you, and they're gonna think of you like that for the rest of your life.
Yeah, I mean, if you
Like-
don't think that that's reality, that's reality.
But there's people that they'll be torn over that. They're like, damn, everyone doesn't like me. And it's like, why the fuck do you care about
And
someone that
that's
doesn't
why
know you?
suicide rates are going up because of that type of shit.
So then is the internet really what is killing us? Have we created something that's killing us?
We can't blame it on the
Well,
blame it on fucking parents.
Well, the parents,
blame
the
it on
media,
on real
the
human
media,
shit too.
all that shit.
It's a lot of things,
Yeah.
bro. But social media isn't helping. But we can't not negate human interactions with parenting and kids and this and that. Like that's the thing. Like there's a lot of factors. Social media is not helping.
But
social media is like a neutral like entity. Like social media is like neutral. It's not gonna be
This is
against you
Robert.
or with you. It's not really gonna be against you or anything like that. It's a neutral thing. You post on it, you take away stuff, you can do shit, whatever. But in the end, yeah, it is always gonna be that you do have to be careful what you post up.
You see, isn't that an interesting how these websites give us the illusion that we're actually able to control everything that's happening, but they can keep the shit on there all the time?
Okay, that's a whole other fucking discussion. What I'm trying to tell you is this.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, bro, we all have to have common sense.
100%.
Yeah. We have to raise people and children to understand what social media is. Social media is positive, actually.
It should be a
if
tool.
we allow it, yeah. It should be a tool for all of us.
And that's what I'm saying. You see it like that, but other people see it as a necessity, like a kind of an extension, like a third limb to their lives.
No, yeah, exactly. Fuck, dude. You can see how when he posted.
Yeah, like who the fuck
It's
is gonna be posting?
validation for your life.
Who the fuck is
Yeah.
posting nudes about themselves? You see girls.
Because they want likes.
Yeah,
They want
girls.
likes. They
Girls
want
my
that
age.
attention.
They want validation.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
You ever heard of a website called OnlyFans?
Yeah, I'm
So
on
yeah,
it.
OnlyFans.
You're on
Yeah, you see what I'm saying?
I'm a fan of a couple of y'all.
Like yo, OnlyFans is for girls who are like putting their like themselves out there. They're trying to be like homemade porn stars type shit. But the internet is able to kind of like use people are able to use the internet to make their living off of that. So that's another way that like even the internet has become something that people depend on.
Yeah, that's just gonna implode, bro.
Yeah.
Oh, 100%. It's just like it's gonna be like fucking Bitcoin.
Oh.
Yo.
Bitcoin.
Well, I gotta get out of here. To be honest with you.
100%.
I have a daughter to get to.
So
Yeah.
we're gonna
She's asleep, but I'm gonna get to her.
we're gonna close this up. DJ EFN has been a fucking amazing
Shout out to
guest
CrazyHood.
right here. His crew has been
CrazyHood is
incredible.
the building.
They've given us drinks. They've given us good screens and stuff. And yo, I'll tell you right now, like
Whoa.
just like that.
Yes.
This is actually.
Yo, what does that remote control do though?
It's
For
They
AC,
take up the
AC.
air.
Oh, is that
Remote
what it's
controls for
called?
AC now.
It is hot. I was sweating, but for it to be where it is right now, like it took a lot.
With all the fat motherfuckers in here, we good. We good right now.
Who's fat, nigga?
You fat.
You,
Yeah, big shout out to Weird Thoughts, bro.
big shout out to everybody that popped out.
But yo, I just want to say, thank you for this stuff. Like I can't even describe to you how much it means, like for someone or people, also people like you guys, to take the time to spend your Friday night with us. And I don't want to keep going on where people
an honor, bro.
think I'm a fanboy, but
Honor.
it truly is an honor. And being someone that is from Kendall itself, and not that you need this, but we were born here and you weren't. You are a natural Miami person, as if you needed that. But like,
yeah, definitely don't need that.
100%.
But I appreciate it.
Like just talking to you. If you did not tell me you were from LA,
You're from here.
I would have never thought you were from elsewhere. So just respect to you, man. Like I wish you all the best, and all you guys, y'all keep thriving. And you know what? I honestly would hope that we can get something where all of us hop in on something, because I'm sure you guys have some crazy ass stories to
You
have.
need to have all these guys on your fucking
Like
podcast.
yo,
Let's run it.
When's the next time we
I
can do
want
this?
you guys to hop in on
Real
some shit. 'cause
talk,
I'm sure
like
you guys
Eddie
got
Gabe
something
got stories.
interesting.
I'd love to
Ethan
hear.
got
I'd love to hear
stories.
more about
Also-
that OnlyFans shit.
I didn't hear about your life.
I don't know if you can handle that.
He
I'm
had,
ready.
Oh, I don't want to say what he was.
Oh no, we'll
We
hear
got
about
you on the
it.
next one. We got you on the next one. Don't worry about
But
it.
yo, thank you.
Y'all can do
Maybe
more.
we'll have a Crazy Hood edition. We'll
You know,
bring the
that'd be
whole
dope.
crew here.
That'd be
Yes, sir. No doubt.
That'd be dope.
Yeah,
Y'all some cool cats. Y'all some
Heckler,
cool
we need
cats.
Heckler to come through.
Yeah,
Will
yeah.
Ryan,
I think he's
Garcia.
like-
He was trying to
Sounds
call me
crazy,
right
man.
now. I'm trying to call him back. He ain't hit me up.
Who?
Heck.
Alright, guys. Thank you for tuning in.
This is
That's
episode
it.
1. Thank you so much.
Episode 1. Let's go.
Thank